Hey, there we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are out there.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is May 11th, 2021. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How we doing there, chat room? Hello, hello. So good to see you. I see Crows here. I see Coated Beard. I see Nitro Evil. Let me bring up the chat room. They're right over here. Hello, hello. We've got a bunch of stuff to do today. We've got a long stream set up. I'm really excited to get into this with you. We're going to write a bunch of code. I'm excited. We've got some friends we're going to bring on. We're not going to bring them on, but we're going to talk about today's stream is sponsored in part by Solarwinds, and we're going to talk about some of their new application management tools that are available out there. They've been showing me these, and I'm looking at getting them installed and running with KlipTok, and we're going to get through and do a little bit of that later on in the stream. We'll come back around and we'll be talking about that and showing that off, running here on stream. Am I picking up an extra voice here? There we go. The voice changer was mid-running. Nope, not Sonar Cube. No. Too low? How you doing? So, Northern Ireland, fantastic. Good to see you. CMJIO. Kana Kieran, good to see you. Cloud Gator, Sparky108, hello. Eternal Dev Coder is here. Simon WSE, hello. DJ Squared 47. And Curious Drive, how's it going there? So, and we've been working towards this. We've been donating money to St. Jude. The St. Jude Play Live drive, we're helping out with that. 1,040, and we had a purple beard on Sunday live on stream. You can go back and see the replay here on Twitch. I think there's a couple clips that you can find over there. Crows with 32 months. Oh my goodness, has it been that long? 32 months. Thank you so much. And we'll make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Did I replace my hair with Alcantara? No. No. I had one of the Surface Pro, one of the Surface Pro keyboards with the Alcantara, and it feels great to some folks. Not my cup of tea. Doesn't do that for me. You listened to the guest appearance on the Beta Talks episode. What happened to the rainbow beard? It's out there. It's out there as we do that for special occasions. We did a purple beard on Sunday. We've got a blue beard milestone set up for this. And we also have a pink beard set up. There's a rainbow beard lurking out there at about 8,000. And we've got some folks that are going to be joining us later this month that might help out with that. How you doing there, Caparino? Good to see you. KlipTok. We're going to do a little bit of work on KlipTok today. And this is May is for Macs. We're going to spend a good chunk of today's stream over on the Mac doing some work on KlipTok. We're going to finish up syncing data for categories that are appearing on the website and keep nudging that project forward. I had a number of things come up over the past week that have taken me away from working on KlipTok. It's going to be a little spotty over the rest of the month as we get closer to Microsoft Build, Microsoft's big developer event that happens the 25th, 26th, and 27th of May. Starting this Friday, and for the next 3 Fridays, we're going to have longer streams. We're going to have 6 to 8 hour streams all the way through the end of the month, culminating on the 28th. We have a big stream planned. I'm going to recruit a couple guests to join us. It's a sponsored stream. We're going to do a complete recap of Build, look at some demos, write some code together. It's going to be a blast. I hope you tune in. Mark your calendars every Friday for the rest of May. We're going to be talking about, and we're going to have longer streams, learning about Blazor, .NET, C#, Azure, all these things. And it's your opportunity, of course, to ask questions and work through some of your questions with us and get a little bit further along there. Arshia, good to see you. Hello. And we're going to, like I said, culminating on the 28th, we've got a big stream planned. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be giveaways. We're going to have a lot of fun there. Audio seems quiet. I did turn it down a smidge because I was clipping. I'm going to push that up just a little bit. So the trick here is getting the microphone loud enough, and at the same time making sure that it doesn't clip. So that should help a bit. So that's what's going on all through the rest of May. And of course, like I said, Microsoft Build coming up in just a few weeks. That's going to be a huge event. There are 3 sessions that I'll be presenting. I've got my hands in 5 sessions. Go ahead. Yeah, there's the hat. AI, how you doing there, Chris? Should pick this one up. Should get it because I was turned to the side. And Welsh Ronaldo with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. No, what happened there? I saw it. Looks like it didn't connect to take the picture. Fine. We'll try that again. Did I ever get my new mixer? Yes. We're using a brand new audio mixer here. There we go. It took the picture that time. And I bet, yeah, it's because I was facing away from it. Let's see if we get it this time. So.
Now we know.
And knowing is half
there
the
it is.
battle.
Wearing my GitHub hat. Excited to see some Microsoft stuff, says Sanders Development. Well, thank you. Yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. You use a lot of Azure and OData. That's okay. OData is a pretty good technology. Folks enjoy it. You got to make sure you configure it right. You got to go and configure that properly so that you appropriately allow folks through to use and interact with your data. Otherwise, it can get out of control, and you don't want folks to be able to just have unfettered access to your database and services. So let me get some music playing here in the background. We're going to go to Stream Beats playlist. Of course, we've been listening to Stream Beats a lot recently. It's been a lot of fun to listen to. It sounds really groovy in the background. Brand new music released all the time. This is from our friend Harris Heller. You can get these music over at streambeats.com. And I'm trying to make sure I don't turn that up too loud. There you go. This is the Synthwave playlist, all free, DMCA free, royalty free. You can listen to this wherever you might be streaming. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. You can also download the music, get the Spotify playlist, we just ran that, okay. Spotify playlist, Amazon playlist, and Apple playlist at streambeats.com. Thank you so much, Harris Heller, for making this music that we can listen to today. See, since the logo's over here, this is a tricky one to do the hat detection. I almost have to be looking over this way for it to actually get the logo on camera for it to find it. Yeah, now it's kind of backed up. It's not going to find it quite as quickly. But we'll see it pop up here in just a few minutes. Give it a little bit of time in between. All right. This is May is for Mac, so we've been doing development on the Mac. On KlipTok, we've been iterating on that, and we've been developing and building. We need to go back in there and continue wrenching on category detection, getting that loaded, and then we need to go back and refill what we missed. Brave Cobra with the resub, 30 months. Thank you so much for the resub. Really appreciate that. And we'll make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You see it right there. If folks want to make extra donations, you can challenge me to eat spicy jelly beans. I've got 3 onesies over here if you want to see me dress as a chicken, a cow, or a donkey. There's donations there. We can do that. And there's also stickers that you can request, and if you want one of my custom hats, one of my custom embroidered hats with one of my emotes, the Blazor logo or the C# logo, you can make a donation, and as a reward, as a thank you, we will send you out one of those. Rick, thank you so much for the cheer. 50 bits. We'll donate to St. Jude. Much appreciate. Digital Dummy with a question here. I'm going to bring this up so it's a little bit easier to see and so it doesn't go scrolling off the screen. Is it possible to pre-render a Blazor WebAssembly app to improve search engine experience? Yes. So if you run Blazor WebAssembly on an ASP.NET Core application, you can configure ASP.NET Core to pre-render first requests. This is because the Blazor WebAssembly application is being hosted by a server that has server processes. So what it can do is it can actually reach in and render the HTML locally in that same .NET runtime, and for the first request, deliver that HTML. The problem we have with KlipTok is it runs on a static website. So there is no server process that's rendering HTML. Consequently, it just serves whatever it is. It just spits out. Here's the DLLs. You go load these up. Blazor on Electron is something that can be done, not something we recommend, but you're going to, when hybrid Blazor comes out with .NET 6, I think you're going to find it's a much better experience, and you're not going to be thinking about Blazor on Electron. Some blue hair? Some blue hair? Got a little bit there. That is featured .chat that you see that highlights the message that pops up there. Good resource for WebSockets in .NET. So let me bring up that question. So here's the thing, for .NET, we actually recommend folks take a step past WebSockets and use the abstraction layer that we call SignalR. And if you look at SignalR, it gives you not just WebSockets, but it gives you that step back if WebSockets are blocked. So let's see. Let's go to docs, Microsoft.com. And let me head over to to the code. I'm not on the Mac yet, but here we go. Yes, we dyed the beard on Sunday. Yep, we did the beard on Sunday. There you go. So, if we go into SignalR, I'll go in here. This is the old SignalR. There's a new version that runs on ASP.NET Core. Sure, we'll use this one. So, if you need dashboard monitoring apps, collaborative apps, you need notifications, you want that live interaction, SignalR gives you WebSockets, server send events, and long polling. It steps back. That's where we recommend folks use SignalR instead of sockets, because WebSockets are so frequently blocked. However, if you do need to use WebSockets, there is a NuGet package that a lot of folks rely on, that a lot of folks will use. Not the GraphQL. We don't want to say that one. Not WebSocket Sharp. I think it's this one that I was using. WebSocket.client. And it does a real nice job of connecting, if you just need a client, of connecting and interacting appropriately with your WebSockets. So let me go to the NuGet package and I will share that link. There we go. So you can check that out. See a bunch more questions here coming in. Let me pause and get these. Pause. Let me grab this, that. Let me grab a bunch of these. I see a couple questions about the beard. So, did I dye the beard? Yes, we did that on Sunday. There's a couple of clips out there. The entire video is out there. We did it purple for the $1,000 milestone for St. Jude. When we get to, I think it's 4,000, we'll dye it blue. When we get to 6,000, we'll dye it pink. When we get to 8,000, we will dye it rainbow. So it was this past Sunday, Brave Cobra. So not this Sunday. We did it 2 days ago. So video is out there. You can check that out. There's a question here from Nitro Evil. Do I think Microsoft will convert Microsoft 365 to Blazor? They're using React currently. Any kind of migration of user interface technology is not simple. It takes time to do. Do I think that they'll convert Microsoft 365 to Blazor? That's a big jump. And there's some performance things that the team is working on. We're only in V2. Eventually, I think WebAssembly is going to take over for JavaScript eventually. That doesn't mean this year. That doesn't mean next year. Eventually. I think that's going to happen because it gives so much more freedom to folks to be able to build and deliver more rich applications that run in the browser with whatever technology they want. So eventually, I think this will happen. I have no inside knowledge. I don't think it's happening in 2021. I would be shocked if it happens in 2022. Eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. So I'm not saying, I don't want to say no, they're not going to do it, but I can't say yes, they are going to do it. I think at some point they will. I don't know when. And I don't expect it in the next year or two. I have no inside knowledge of that. It's strictly me conjecturing. So, well, I'm going to hold your question for a second here, Nerd Herder. Caparino asks, if someone wants to upload some showcase project live demo, what is the best solution for mocking a database so you don't get spammed? What I do is, when I need to put together some sort of a mock database interaction, my live demo that I put together typically has some sort of way that it's injecting a repository object. I'm using dependency injection for unit testing, so I can inject a repository. Well, why not change out that repository object, point it at something in memory, or even better, point the repository, change out the connection string and the provider, and point it at SQLite, and just deliver a SQLite database that you just nuke and rebuild once a day or something for the purposes of testing and showing your live demo, and you want to refresh. Keep an original copy of that SQLite database and knock down the system once a day, once a week. Delete the existing one, put the new SQLite database, the original one, name it something, demodb.org, and copy it into demo.db so that you're pointing to a fresh, empty copy of it with all the default data. And I would do something like that. So, let me see. A couple more questions here. I'm going to go to this first question from Nerd Herder. Is KlipTok using the functions portion of static web app, or is it a separate function app? It's using both. So it is using the API, the functions app to serve those requests for database content from Azure. Jeremy
Knight _me just resubscribed for 22 months. C# bot.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate the resub, and we'll make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But KlipTok is also using a separate function app to do some of those synchronization processes with Twitch, where in pre-calculation interactions with the algorithm that we started developing, so that your interactions with the database aren't affected by functions running in the same memory space that are managing the data. All of your stuff to read data does go through the functions app, and there's a second app that I call the back office app that is doing all the synchronization. And you'll see we're going to work on some of that when we get over to the Mac today. One suggestion that came in here from Jeremy was maybe swap to Entity Framework, from Entity Framework to the in-memory version of this. The challenge with that, it's not a bad choice. It's pretty good for if you're doing unit tests. But the challenge with switching to the in-memory is if the web server restarts, you lose all of your data in there. So if somebody was doing some demo, some testing, and the web server restarts, it might be a very fast restart, but you just lost all your data. So by going to something like SQLite, you can take a little bit more discrete control over when the demo data recycles. This isn't bad. Not bad at all. Nothing wrong with this suggestion. I would like to take a little bit more control over when it restarts. I'm going to grab a couple more questions that have come up here. Brave Cobra says, just wondering here, could you run a service running on a TCP port inside Blazor on the client, like an embedded server? No. No. You're inside the sandbox. You can't listen like that. When you're running Blazor inside the browser, you're subject to the same constraints as the as JavaScript. You're inside the browser sandbox. You can't just open ports and start listening. It's that type of interaction is blocked. So, Arshia asks, Blazor with SignalR, is that going to replace HTTP request and respond? No. No, I don't think so. At some point, you do need to request and respond with the browser. It's a natural memory flush, memory refresh, right? You're clearing the memory cache because you're telling the browser, forget everything that is loaded right now. We're going to load new content. So it helps with that. And there are times where you want to flush the DLLs that are in memory that are running with Blazor, go over somewhere else and restart. So I don't think it's going to replace. It's not a bad way to use that. I mean, certainly Blazor server side is all SignalR, but I think there's a time. There's a time for everything. I don't think it's going to replace it, but there's a time and place that we want to use all of these tools. Hey, M. Pulowski, good to see you. I see, I'm going to pin a couple more questions here. Really good stuff coming through. Sanders Development asks, is there a proper way to fake an OData-Api without starting the real one? I'm not sure I follow. We have to write unit tests for a TypeScript client without a locally started API. Oh, so if you're building a TypeScript client, there are ways to stand up a node, a node test instance, so that you can program and fake it out and tell it here's how to respond, so that you can run things a little bit locally. That's one way that I've seen folks go. Another way might be, you know what, take your API, drop it into a Docker container, and point it at some fake data inside the Docker container. Start up the Docker container on some other port and let it interact. Freya's here!
Freya just resubscribed for 6 months. C#, C#, C#.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, my friend. It's good to see you, Freya. Freya is one of our friends that's been helping with translations for KlipTok. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit, and we have some translations to merge here before we get started. So I would, without having to rewrite your API, I would look at deploying it in a container and just stand up a new instance on a different port. I think that would be a good way to go with that. Nerd Herder has another question here. UI interactions using the API functions, back office is a separate function app. Yes. So I've been trying to get a blog running. Hugo is so darn picky trying to build this blog application for KlipTok. And I want to show some of these techniques that I've been using, some of the architecture, how KlipTok runs. I'll show you that a little bit when we get over to the Mac. There's some neat stuff there that I've been kind of discovering, I don't know, inventing as I've been going along here, that I think will be valuable for other folks to learn from. Dota 2 Attitude, good to see you. How's it going? If you're doing a lot of database stuff in your unit tests, you're testing side effects, and those aren't unit tests. That's a great point, Dota. To get unit test speed, you need to stub mock, absolutely, and that's where I like to use a repository pattern on top of Entity Framework, so I can swap out that repository, that clip repository, whatever it is, right? Swap that database interaction out with something that's fixed, something that I know is always returning. It's returning the same 3 orders from my orders database, right? The same 3 data points, so I know all the time exactly what it is. So using a stub or a mock is going to help you with that and make it much, much faster for you to run through things. But if you're doing integration testing, you don't want to test against the live database, and that's where I would definitely look at using a Docker container. You're already using test in memory DB? Okay. That's not bad. A stub is going to get you a little bit further along with that. And at some point we need to write unit tests for KlipTok, and it might be a good idea to get into that. Not Docker. Sorry, might be my accent. I've been watching Mayor of Easttown on HBO the wife and I binged it yesterday. We watched the first 3 episodes, and I fell into my Philly accent and saying daughter instead of daughter, wooder instead of water. Hello, telephone. You know that guy who used to wear 23 for the Chicago Bulls, considered one of the greatest basketball player of all time? His name's Moik. When the Philly accent starts creeping out of me, it's a problem. So yes, Docker, and I'll apologize. I've been trying to consciously say things better, clearer. So, and Docker is actually how I run the bot behind the scenes here on stream. This is Adrian. Adrian7 asks, wasn't here when worked on the search feature for KlipTok. Could I give a brief explanation of how it works? there is a service that runs on Azure called Azure. It's Azure Cognitive Search. I think they renamed it to, because it's now not just search, but it's like, yeah, Azure Cognitive Search. And what you can do is you can point this at a database. Come on. And wire up some artificial intelligence analysis of your data. And it will allow you to hit an endpoint, hit an HTTP endpoint, search through data, and get some JSON data back. So the way we configured KlipTok to search through clip data from Twitch is we put that clip data into an Azure table storage account. And what Azure Search will do is you can tell Azure Search to... Yeah, they went and changed the service again on me. There were only 2, now there's 4. Thanks. I'll get a notice at some point that I'm out of compliance or something and I need to upgrade. But what you can do is you can point to a database. I mean, it's crazy simple how they put this together. You can point to a database, whether it's SQL Server, Cosmos DB, or Azure Storage tables, and it will start to index that data for you on a regular basis. And it will remember what data it's already indexed so that it doesn't re-index the same data. It will do incremental indexing on a regular basis. So, really cool stuff that has built in that we're able to just iterate over and build on, and I don't have to think about rebuilding indexes or a search appliance. It's already available for us, and we're just taking advantage of it. Let me see here. I see a few more questions I want to go to. So, all right. What do you say we start writing some code? Let me get the glasses on. In about an hour and a half, we'll cut over and we'll talk about Solarwinds. The folks who are sponsoring our stream today, and we'll start talking about some of their new features in their. They have a brand new product that they've released. It's an APM integrated experience application that is going to help us log, track down performance issues, get traces from stuff. Really cool stuff that we're going to be able to take a look at. And we're going to get involved with that in about an hour and a half. So, all right. Let's do this. Let me close these out. There's the SignalR. Let me put up in the box up here. So you're not even going to see the box because I'm going to be over at the other set. What am I thinking? Okay. All right, let me pull this out, put it up here so we can see. All right. Let's do it. Let's head over to the Mac and let's dive into the code and start working on. And I'll show a little bit more of the architecture of KlipTok when I get over there. We're going to work on some of the back office synchronization, and we're going to get into translations and showing off a little bit of how KlipTok works. So let me head over there and we're going to start coding on a Mac. All right, 1 second. Test. Am I on the right mic? Do we have it? There we go. Good. I gotta change over microphones when I switch to the other set. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. Don't spill the coffee, Fritz. Don't do it. Don't do it. You won't like it if you spill the coffee. All right. Hey, how you doing there? Good to see you. I'm over here now. Let's get into, here we are. This is the KlipTok translations repository. This was our #1 request on the KlipTok feedback site. Of course, you remember KlipTok. This is the website that we've been building, and we've been learning more and more about all kinds of Azure features, about Blazor features, as we go through and we build something that's more real, right? So this is our feedback site that we built. This uses an engine called Fighter. You can see it right there, Fighter. You can click through and learn more about that to build that user feedback website. This is deployed in a container running on Azure, and it connects in and uses a Postgres database out here. Veronica, hello, good to see you. Welcome in. So we've got a bunch of features here, and the number one feature request that we had was, hey, it'd be great if we had localization and translations. And a bunch of folks on stream volunteered to help out with some of the translations for KlipTok, and this is the open source repository for all of our translations. So Arshia is suggesting here, let me go up and grab that. Hey, I can make a Persian translation if you'd like. How should I help? What perfect timing for me to answer that question. So here's what you do. Here's how you can create a translation. And just like I saw Freya was here earlier, I don't know if she's still here. She helped out with the Indonesian translation. There's her pull request right there. Real easy to do. Go out to C#Fritz on GitHub, KlipTok.translations, and you can see in the code here, what you do is you fork the repository. You see there's 25 forks of the repository. Fork the repository and go in here. The authoritative set of text is this one, ENUS, because I'm American. I'm writing the American translation first. So when you clone it, copy this file, and it has all of the American English translations in here, along with some notes about exactly what some of these templates are, where you see the things like the 0, the 1. These are templates where it's going to drop into here some bit of information, right? So copy this and give it the appropriate name, and I think I actually put some information down here. But we need to give your file the appropriate name for your language. So the ISO 639 2-letter culture code and 3166 two-letter uppercase code for me, for American English, is EN-US. If I wanted to provide a Spanish translation, it would be ES. And there's also a ES-US for a Spanish American translation. I think there's also like FR-CA for French Canadian translation. If we don't have that specific combination for your culture and your part of the world, it will walk back the various translations. So if we didn't have ENGB here, right, for the British folks, it would fall back to the en.json, to the basic English translation. So that is a little bit of how that works. So copy it down, fork. You fork the repository, download the code. You can actually even edit the code here directly inside of GitHub, and edit the text. When you're done editing the text, you create a pull request. And the pull request is a way for you to tap me on the shoulder effectively and say, hey, Jeff, I've got an update for you. So here, Freya has an update for the translation of clipped by format. And it will send over those files that have changed. So here I have, for the Indonesian translation, I have the updated clipped by format. And it looks like we added a comma in the byline format for a comment. Great. Real easy to do. Some other, looks like a little bit of other spacing cleanup in here. That's cool. Right? And I just take a quick look through here and make sure nothing looks out of line. And typically I'll merge these in. And that becomes part of the application at that point. So, thank you for the update. Much appreciated. So now that's part of this repository, the translations repository. And what I'll do is I'll bring down a local copy of KlipTok, merge these in, push it out, and it'll redeploy in about 4 or 5 minutes to the live website. So that's how that process works. We have some updated Russian translations here. Let me bring those up. Added translation for search and search result. Added translation for clipped by format. If we open these up. So clipped by format, there we go. All right. Search KlipTok. And some folks have said, hey, maybe you should check some of these. I'll grab one of these real quick. Copy that. Let's go to translate.bing.com or bing.com translator. Paste the text in there. And no, I don't want Spanish. I want English. Why are you telling me Spanish? Don't you know I want English? Including channels. Fantastic. Right? So, good stuff. This is rats. Wrong button. Conversation. This is from Russian. They've already been contributing, but for first time contributors, I also put their name on the contributors list that goes in the website. So I'll merge this request, and thank you for the update. Much appreciated. There we go. So now we'll get that merged in. And I see a couple folks asking, well, what about right to left? I haven't done anything to support right to left. This is a little bit of a challenge that I'm trying to think through and understand. Because in order for us to support right to left, we need to change out some CSS in order to provide the right to left direction for text. I'm not quite sure how to do that. I need to look that up and figure out what's the next step that we need to go through to make that happen. Yeah, Chris Jones, you can share. Absolutely, you can share your blog post. All right. So, yeah, the right to left is just a... If we were to take a look real quick. Right to left with Blazor. Right, because you need to have that... right, so Syncfusion has an article. Telerik has an article. Syncfusion... how to make matte Blazor right to left. I'm looking for... Alright, let's see what Syncfusion has to say here. We'll click through to theirs. Right to left support can be enabled for Syncfusion Blazor components by setting enable RTL to true. See that? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I opened that in a new tab. So where I'm going to run into an issue here is that I need to inspect the culture to see if it's a right to left language and emit some sort of CSS style sheet update. Maybe I can even put it right next to where dark mode is, the theme that says right to left. Oh, our friend Marin wrote about right to left support. It's not tied to .NET 6, right? It's an potential updates in the themes for Bootstrap. Current outlook for implementing right to left is around November. That's no. So there is Telerik support for right to left. So we're going to have to go through and figure out exactly where. Yeah, there's a direct... Is it a direction property with CSS? And we need to... RTL CSS is a framework for transforming from left to right to left. Complete guide on how to add RTL support. CSS for forms and landing pages. Right to left styling. Set the dir RTL attribute on the HTML element. Let's see, what does SitePoint have here? Because if it's something that I can swap in, let's say the code, we've added the lang AR attribute for the language support. See, I can't change out the lang tag here because in Blazor it's rendered outside the application. I mean, maybe I could do that with a little bit of JavaScript. I'm already doing a little bit of JavaScript. The layout requires the normal direction. The main section should be floated to the left, while a side should be floated to the right. And it changes, yeah. They're changing the layout entirely because of the float there. Oh boy. Left to right, and yeah, direction. Where is it? They're bringing that in. Yeah, direction. And they set it on the body. So I should be able to do something very similar to how we did themes. So hey Shmuley, good to see you. You're working in Iran, making shopping sites right to left is a pain in the neck. Yeah, there is JavaScript interop, and in Blazor, but is changing that out all that I need to do. Let me pin this. Let me pin these discussions, this topic. I've already got the RTL support, but let me grab this. Some help with CSS and HTML. Now putting RTL. I want to get through this category feature because it is kind of broken right now for everybody. So I'd like to get that built, and we can come back to this second today. So looking at I got to keep an eye on my time also, to make sure that I start on time for our friends from Solarwinds. So let me just set a quick timer, so that I remember, and because otherwise I'll just start coding and completely forget. I'll look up and it'll be dinner time. So all right, let's get into this. Let me show you a little bit about the architecture. I'm gonna pin this for now. Absolutely, we do need to address right to left. Let me come back to this after I complete the category section. But I don't want to forget this. I'm not even going to close this browser tab. These browser tabs. Let me just move these over here. And we'll see about getting that in next. Some of our other requested features: a top clippers page. Now that we're tracking who makes clips for streams, I think this is going to be something very cool to do. Send notifications. Well, we need notification support. We need a mature flag. So KlipTok very much reflects what is happening on Twitch. And there is very much right now, I believe DJ Wheat calls it the hot tub meta. And some folks have gotten a little carried away with that, and the clips have consequently tracked with that appropriately, which can be seen as a good thing or a bad thing that happens. But we end up having clips come through that might not be appropriate for all cultures and for all audiences. So something we need to consider. Quick date search buttons. This is something that we can build really easy on the streamer page, and I think will make that experience a lot better. There's a bit of cleanup that I'm going to do there, and make that available. Vegas Vault with a question here. I'm happy to bring this up. Do I think Blazor is a good option for making online web games like Solitaire for someone that isn't too good with JavaScript? I'll go you one further. Let's look at the awesome Blazor list. This is the awesome Blazor list. Just search for awesome Blazor, and you can build all kinds of things. Sample projects, tutorials, presentation sites. There's all kinds of cool stuff here. But if I scroll down, Quiz Manager secured by Auth0, Blazor WASM Identity. There's some CMSs that have been built with Blazor. Games, here we go. Asteroids, Trains.net, Flappy Bird. Yes, Flappy Bird with Blazor. So, yes, go ahead, play. I'm not sure what this text box is. Okay, good to know. It's a space bar. That's a small thing. But somebody built... Ooh, I'm going to do well here. But this is all C#, this is .NET, this is Blazor running in the browser. So if you've got experience with C#, why not? I mean, it's rendering nicely. It runs great here on my Mac. Oh, nuts. So, check it out. That's the awesome Blazor list, and there's proof positive there that you can do stuff with it. And yeah, when you build, you can export to all kinds of platforms with that. Yeah, use Unity, works very well also. Our friends at Okta, who made Code Tycoon, they built with Unity and exported it to work over there. Biggest pitfall of coding. You start coding, look up after what seems like 15 minutes. Geez, how much time has passed? Yeah. Yeah. You get so involved and so engrossed in it. And I think that's the same for any activity that you enjoy. You have a great time doing, solving puzzles, reading, playing video games. You get involved. You get so engrossed in that activity, you just completely forget where time goes. Don't know C#? Just watch the stream for experience. Hey, that's cool, Cubalele. Fantastic. You've tried to work with Unity as a 2D application framework. It's a hassle to make it run good. Unity really is intended to give you full control over the entire screen, the entire experience. So, trying to use it to build 2D applications with that extremely rich user interface, it may be overkill. You might do better with something like WPF. That said, there are folks that have built all kinds of building blocks for use inside Unity that might work well for you. So whether it's downloading 3D objects that you can embed, 2D art and getting that wired up, there are all kinds of ways to do that. That is open source. The Blazor Flappy Bird, I don't know. Is it? Is it? Sure looks like it could be. Yep, it's open source. There it is. Right there. So, something you can definitely use. You can get into and learn more about how they built this. And I would definitely encourage it. I'm a big fan of Blazor. So, let me scroll through here. Is Blazor popular? Asks Greatest Lord. Blazor's only been out for a year. There are a lot of folks building things with it. There are a lot of corporate folks that are building things inside their corporate firewall using it. It's getting there. Is it as popular as Angular, Vue, and React that have been around for a decade now? No. But for .NET developers who want to build and have full control of the processor while you're inside the browser and take advantage of some really cool interactions, do machine learning algorithms, execute those inside the browser natively right on the processor, yeah, it's amazing for that. It's amazing. And we're showing it off with KlipTok. So exactly what you can do with it. So, yeah, WebAssembly, Jeremy, thank you. That's a very good point as well. WebAssembly hasn't been around too long. It's not that old. Maybe 5 years old? 7 years old? I mean, WebAssembly is part of HTML5, so every browser supports it. So the things you build with Blazor run on top of a .NET framework that's compiled to run on top of WebAssembly. That means it will run on any machine. Any machine. You got a sample app with Blazor and Electron on GitHub for those who want it? Cool. That's awesome. DJ Squared 47 has 2 websites in process using Blazor, 1 internal, 1 external. Awesome. That's great stuff. JavaScript code we replaced with C# link was insane. Oh my gosh, Jeremy. I hear you on that. The amount of code that you can save by using C# link methods, right? To manipulate and work with collections is amazing. Some folks will say that when you look at the code that it generates, it's a little inefficient. The compiler optimizes that. I don't have to worry too much about that. No problem, Brave Cobra. Happy that you shared that link so folks can learn more about some of the code you've been working on. All right. Let me go back over. Let's talk about KlipTok. Let's get into this a little bit. Writing some code and building here. There are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 projects that make up the KlipTok solution. Down at the bottom here, kliptok.twitch. This is a project that contains all of my code that I need to interact with Twitch, and it also contains a couple view models that I need in order to help present the user interface. KlipTok.client is the Blazor application. This is what gets downloaded and runs in your browser. Common event sub, communication services, these are various projects that are used between both the API and back office projects in order to know how to communicate, put things into database, into the various data stores that we have, hand things off to other functions so that we have a little bit of pub sub that runs on the big Azure cloud, and various functions have various responsibilities so they can complete a task quickly, hand it off, release processor, and something else can handle that much quicker. Yes, only 9 projects, and even then we should be able to, I think 3 of these should have been consolidated into 1. I think client, common event sub, even communication should probably be in 1 project. KlipTok Twitch should probably be 2 projects, but it is what it is. I can do refactoring another time. So, all right. So that's kind of the basics. The API project is the series of HTTP API endpoints, REST endpoints, that the Blazor application communicates with on Azure to get the data that we decide to present on the screen. And I mentioned previously, the back office project is the project that contains all of those synchronization functions that run to get data from Twitch, aggregate, pre-calculate, manage the search index. We had a question about the search index earlier. Manage all of that data so that it's running in the background asynchronously from your interactions on the website. So it's the back office operations that's running no matter what you do on the website. Flappy Bird's Battle Royale using Blazor and SignalR is the game you never knew I needed, right? You've used webcam and mic in Blazor WebAssembly. Last time I checked, it needed a little JavaScript to make it work. It does just to hook the objects from the browser. If anytime you need to interact from WebAssembly to a browser feature like GPS, right? You can interact with GPS from JavaScript. That's not exposed directly to WebAssembly, so you need a little bit of interactivity, a little bit of interop. I'm sorry, not interactivity. A little bit of interop to go from your WebAssembly over to JavaScript to get that handle on that browser feature, so that Blazor can interact with the browser. Blazor can interop with the browser interactively. Say that 5 times fast. Ooh. So, all right, what else do we got here? Clipboard is your most commonly used interaction. I believe it. That makes sense to me. Totally makes sense to me. Okay. Let me go in. Let me show you where we were with the category name feature, and we'll get back to getting ready to deploy this, because quite frankly, I forget where we left off. So let's go in. Let's take a look at what I have here for refreshing categories for clips. I should probably, you know what? I never merged and sent up the translations, did I? I didn't, and now I feel shame. That's a line from that old movie Slapshot. Right? Okay. What branch am I on? Fix clip sync. I'm okay with that. Let me go over to the main branch. Yes, I know. Pull in the latest updates. Thank you. Let me go into the client app. The translation. Pull in those latest updates. There we go. We see the Indonesian and Russian translation updates. I'm going to add the translations. Updated Indonesian and Russian translations. And I will push that out. Cool. And if we take a look over here, because we have GitHub Actions wired up. Hello. I just pushed that. Why aren't you running? Branch is up to date with Origin main. Is it because there's nothing else that changed and it was just the translation? Oh, there it goes. There they go, right there. So now it's rebuilding for Web 3, Web 2, and for my back office application. So it's going to rebuild these, and they take about, you can see here, it takes about 4 minutes for each one of these to finish deploying, building and deploying out to Azure. So in the next 5 minutes, we'll have all of our translations updated and available on the live website. Okay. I can close Flappy and that. All right. Let me change back to that other branch. Right, I think it was fix clip sync. Ah, come on. Yeah, there it is. I'm not getting the tab completion here. Let me open tmux here. There we go. That feels better. Whoa! I wasn't expecting that. No. My hotkeys that I'm used to using for this are remapped to things for the Mac. Because I'm used to doing this on Linux. Okay. So I should be able to start my API in the background. I'm going to leave this one as is, and over here, I should be able to .NET Watch. And actually, I don't need to .NET Watch yet. Thinking. Let's call this. Create a new one. I'm going to be working in the back office project a bit. All right, back over here. So let's talk about category refresh. Pausing for a question or two here. I'm going to grab Coated Beards. This here, what kind of Mac do I have? This is a MacBook Air from 2015. It's been my trusty partner whenever I need to code with the Mac. Next comment here. Oh my goodness. Let me grab this. I've used an ASP.NET hosted Blazor WebAssembly app on a Pi with system device GPIO to control a camera on the Pi from the browser. That's awesome. I think the pure WebAssembly interface for browsers are scheduled for a later version of the WebAssembly runtime. The pure WebAssembly interface for browsers. Well, right, WebAssembly itself as a runtime is evolving. I'm not surprised. I'm not keeping up to date on that, so that's good to know. Thank you. You dislike Twitch notifications not telling you when I'm live? I'm sorry. Yeah, I know operating system's not supported. Sorry about that. You can go and try toggling the notification switch on the page, right? Because you can follow and you can ask for notifications. Try toggling it and see if that resets. And that might help you. Okay. Let me go to this comment from DJ Squared, and then we'll go back into the code. Missed the last stream from over the weekend. What's the TLDR in Code Tycoon? Code Tycoon is a minimum viable product. It's a game that our friends at Okta have developed to bring a little awareness as to what a developer's life is. It's a mashup between The Sims and Office Space, to be perfectly frank, or The Office, right? Just the craziness of office politics and all the things happening there. I had somebody in the game begging me to take care of the office hamster instead of writing code. And you don't actually write real code. It's how much time do you want to allocate to writing code, fixing bugs, writing new features, fixing bugs, improving performance, and how you balance that time. And it was fun. It was a nice distraction for a little bit that made us laugh, and we had a good time checking that out. And they're continuing to evolve that game and put some other mini games in it and improve it. They got a lot of feedback from us on stream on Sunday evening, and I'm curious to see how it evolves here over the next bit. So code all day and play coding all night. Well, kind of on Coder. How you doing there? You were watching a talk the other day about pure WebAssembly interfaces for browsers. I couldn't help you with that. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. All right, let me get back into this. So we get clip data from Twitch. This is their refresh function right here. Say refresh channels. So once a minute, there it is, once a minute, it wakes up and goes and gets new data from Twitch to show on KlipTok. I haven't even shown KlipTok today. I should show it. So KlipTok is the application that we've been building since about November that is all Blazor WebAssembly, all static website using Azure Functions, Azure Search. There we go. Look at that. That actually loaded really fast. I'm kind of impressed. It hasn't loaded my profile picture here. There it is. I don't know why that takes so long. I need to fix that. But You see a bunch of suggested streamers based on the number of views that they have, the number of likes that have been given to their clips that appear here on KlipTok. The channels that you follow are available under this following tab, and you'll see it'll load up. Here's some of the channels that you follow, that I follow, because it's me logged in, and some of the cool things that have been clipped from their channel. So here's Kit Boga. Here's Ellieface playing Minecraft. More Kit Boga, more Ellieface, because they were on last night. Joystick Nick playing some music. So I can scroll through and see very quickly, well, here's some of the streams that I enjoy and some of the fun things that happened on there. I can click over and see the clips that I liked. I can see some of the streamers that have had recent clips down the side here, and I can jump right into their channel. So if I want to go check out Jenny Nexus, she's a member of the Live Coders team. We can see, there's Jenny's profile picture. Cool mask with the skull. That's pretty cool. And 2 hours ago we had a clip. There we go. So you can see some of the clips that happened recently on her channel, playing games. Oh, is that Pac-Man 99? See, it doesn't. Here's where the category issue is. It's right here. Jenny Nexus playing, and the category name is missing. It doesn't know what that game is yet. So we need to download and sync that data so it starts to appear here. And for the next set of features that we want to show, that we want to build, I want you to be able to go and look at the clips that you've been following and say, well, here, Crass Kitty, right? It doesn't know it. This looks like Valorant, right? Or Apex. But I don't have that in my category list. So I want this filled out here so that eventually when you click following or you're on Discover Clips, you'll be able to put a filter on it and say, you know what? I just want to see folks playing Fortnite. I just want to see folks playing Valorant, Apex, right? Is that Valorant or Apex? So, right, we want to be able to get that information to you so you can kind of zoom in on just the content you want to see right now on stream. Yeah, Twitch did have similar functionality. They removed it. I'm putting some other functionality in here as well that they removed, as well as the old Clip Master title. We're going to put that back in here as well. But in order for me to get there, I need to finish making sure that all the data for clips is properly loaded into my database. And that brings me back to this category name sync, because the category name is delivered as a separate piece of data. When you download clips from Twitch, they only give you the category ID, or the game ID is actually what it's labeled in the API. So this broadcast right now is in science and technology, right? Just chatting, Fortnite, Valorant, Apex, whatever, right? Those are different categories here on Twitch. So we want to be able to filter by those. I need to then have that library of the categories that Twitch currently provides. So I can look up and I can provide this denormalized data here, right? I want to get. I've got the idea of what this game is, but I want to get that and output it right here. So you can see, and you're not like me who isn't familiar with Valorant and Apex, and you can look at this and go, oh, of course, they're playing whatever here. So that's what I need to get in here. I see a couple more comments. Coloring in the coffee mug made it look like it was a coffee pot. No, that's a coffee mug. So the Office hamster on Code Tycoon, it's died so many times. Good. Hey, Sean, has anyone worked with nlog for ASP.NET Core 5? I've worked with it a little bit. What concerns are you having with nlog? That timing line looks like some OG cron tab. It is. It is, in fact, if we look back over here, the timer trigger for an Azure function does use cron tab format. It's got one extra slot here. So we have seconds, minutes, hours, days, days of the week, days of the month, I think it is. Or, yeah, I think that's what the 6 are. So I only typically use the first ones because I'm working with intervals on the day. Friends, hello, look who's here, JAF1021. Welcome, man. How you doing there, Mom? Good to see you. Mom, I got stuck in the machine again. Help me. Good to see you. Morale, I'm not going... I'm sorry, that's completely off topic. I'm not going to answer those questions and get into that. If you want to see how I load follower information, you can look at the Fritz Stream Tools project. Check out the GitHub repository for fritz.streamtools below. There's code in there that you can use that'll give you something like that feature you're looking for. Happy Mother's Day to Mom. So good to see you out there. And that was this weekend. Yeah, I'm in Tron. I'm right. It's Tron. I'm in the machine here, Mom. I'm stuck again. Let me bring up this question from G-Man. Twitch is planning to add the ability to say not interested to certain recommended channels and clips. Any plans to have something similar? I do have the ability to mute, which is, I think, not interested. If there's something more than that we're looking for, right? I have a feeling we're going to want to dial in some AI at some point here so we can learn what types of clips different streamers create, what types of games, what types of categories they're in. So you can say, well, I'm not interested in, I'm going to pick on Tim. I'm not interested in what Tim the Tat Man is broadcasting because he's always playing Call of Duty, Apex, Valorant, some of these games. Well, if you don't like that, maybe I shouldn't show you Ninja and some of these other streamers that also play those games. Maybe. Those types of things we can figure out, but we're very early in the process here, and we're still doing a bit of just simple create, read, update, delete functions like this category bit here that we need to work on. So, timer triggers seem really interesting. Timer triggers are I think, the easiest thing to understand around Azure functions. Let me give you the quick and dirty here. This is a function, right? We've seen C# code in the past. This is a C# method called refresh channels. There it is. It runs asynchronously and returns a task, some sort of a pointer that the runtime manages so that it knows when it's running and using the processor, these things. So it is exposed to the Azure Functions runtime as the name refresh channels, which seems kind of stupid that it has the same function name as the method name. Like, duh. Anyways, so this attribute, and that's what this is called inside the square brackets that says timer trigger, is an indicator to the runtime that you're going to run this method that you see here, right? And there's the curly brace that starts the method. This method is going to run when this timer, which is old school cron tab, when this is satisfied. So what the runtime does when you install these functions, this application onto the Azure Function runtime, is it actually generates a cron tab entry for this configuration pointing to this method, refresh channels. That's what it's doing behind the scenes. So all that happens is the cron tab wakes up and says, okay, time to run refresh channels, and it hands off to the runtime and says, go run refresh channels, and it passes in all the information that we need. I hope that makes sense, that overly simplified way that the timer trigger runs this. And it delivers a timer info here that I can inspect and learn more about the current state of the timer that triggered this function. So, Azure Functions and Azure Durable Functions are cool as hell. Use them a lot at your company. That's great. Playing Call of Duty more like spectating post. Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that. I get it. You're asking for a KlipTok feature. Check out the feedback website, feedback.kliptok.com. You can write that up there. We'll talk about it a little bit further. And I need to stop reading questions. I need to actually get into code here. We're 2 hour and a half into stream here, and I haven't written any code yet. Your job is too stuck on what's easy. Wish you can implement more Azure. Wish they would support it. Yeah. Crystal clear video tonight. Glad to hear it, Fahim Rashid. Good to see you. Hello. How's Azure looking? Is it worth getting into the field and getting some certifications? I believe so. Microsoft Azure is, by some counts, the first, second most used cloud service out there. It's 1 and 1A right now with AWS. You'll hear them argue back and forth about which one is bigger. In some industries, AWS is bigger. In other industries, Azure is bigger. There's a government cloud feature that the US government uses and uses significantly now. And there's all kinds of startups prefer using AWS. All kinds of enterprises prefer using Azure. It's back and forth. This is the Pepsi versus Coke, McDonald's versus Burger King type of competition. And it's a good competition to have because it means that both services are pushing each other to drive prices cheaper, features better, more reliable, faster, and more impactful for us as developers, as application maintainers. That's a good thing. So is it worth it to get into Azure? I think so. I definitely think so. There's a lot going on there. How much demand is there for ASP.NET Core 5 developers in the US? There's always strong demand for .NET developers. A lot of enterprises use .NET, so there's strong demand. Specifically for ASP.NET Core 5, I couldn't tell you. Sorry. So, the followers feed logic. What about the followers feed logic? That downloads your list of, when you log into KlipTok, it downloads your list of channels that you follow and puts them in the database so we can query and present the latest clips from those folks right here. I'm zoomed in really far. That's what's going on. There we go. Now we can see a little bit better. So, all right. Let's get back over, and I want to dig into this category sync that I need to resolve here. Oh, this mouse doesn't have a scroll wheel that tilts left right. And I've got less than an hour to get this done. Oh boy. For all the clips, add or update clips. Here we go. If the category name is null and we do have a category ID, we're going to go notify the category collector, hey, there's a category here you need to get information about. All right, so new clips, new category. Here it is. This is the categories. If the category was loaded already, check if the category was loaded already. If so, exit now. So category repository, get by row key. If we find that category, return, exit. We don't have to do anything more. Otherwise, get the category information from Twitch. Okay. And this is going to return a Twitch game record object. We're going to go find that category, get the first or default item, add the category to the table that's in the format for our table that we call category here. So create a new category and put the Twitch category ID and the Twitch category name in there. Good. And for all the clips that have that category ID, we're going to, for each one of them, set the category name. So we're denormalizing here, right? When we think about relational database, you want to normalize your data to a certain point because you have some sort of a reference table. In our case, we have a reference table of categories right here. And we're putting new entries in there that just says, well, for category ID 1, the category name is science and technology. That's not the real value, but I'm giving an example. We want to denormalize that so we don't have to go get entries from the category table when we have a category ID with our clip. So we're doing this denormalization of copy that category name also into the clip record so that we, like I said, it's an extra join, it's an extra lookup that we don't have to do when we're managing our clips. Additionally, when we go to put the clips in the search engine doesn't have a way to reach into the category table. It only has the clip data that we send it. So the search engine doesn't actually care about the category ID. It does care about the category name. So we don't send that data over to the search engine. All right, so updating clips in the search repository. So we go find those clips, search entity from clip. Okay, so we take the clips that we just found that had that category ID. We're updating the category name, and in the repository, we're going to go, we're going to go put them into the search table. What was that?
Just resubscribed for 9 months.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for the resub. Much appreciate. It didn't pop up here. I don't see it yet. There it is. Ted's Tech, thank you so much for the resub. Good to see you. And we'll make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You see it up there. We've raised $1,040 for St. Jude coming into today. Always happy to support the folks over there and what they're doing to help kids that are struggling with cancer and other terrible diseases. My goodness. This is Visual Studio for Mac that we're using today. We're on the Mac all month long. I see a bunch of discussion about the .NET career. If you have 3 years .NET Core experience, you'll have 0 issues. You find very little, and when I do find, requires on-the-job skills. Oh my gosh. It's just .NET 5. There is no core. It's .NET 5. You won't see .NET Core 5. So that's the product name, to make sure that folks refer to it properly, and you don't get called out by somebody saying, well, I don't know what that is. So I think... Come on, get that lining up. You're not going to line up for me, are you? You punk. I feel like that's actually going to... run properly for us. My concern is I need to put entries on the service bus for the various category IDs that I need to load. And I need to allocate the service bus entries. What am I thinking? I haven't allocated the service bus for this. So for those of you that haven't seen service bus, let's go get this configured. Right, so let me F12 into that. There we go. So we need to create we have a topic for new clips. There should also be, we have a topic for new category we need to go after, and there's also a subscription here for add category. So let me head over to the big Microsoft Azure portal, and maybe we'll be able to get this migrated and loaded right now. Core is still in the namespaces. Yes, it is. I'm going to grab a couple more comments here. Pick an account. Yes. Do the login. Do the login, Luke. You will log in to Azure. Go. Route through about a dozen different websites before you actually get to the portal, Luke. Come on, let's go. And I want to see my resource groups. I'm going to go into resources, KlipTok. And I'm going to go grab the service bus. Service bus. There it is. So a service bus is like a series of queues out there, right? If you think about when you go to a sporting event, when you go to sporting event's a good example because there's you go to the ticket booth, you go to enter the arena, and there's tons of queues, right? Lines to get into the arena. And a service bus is a series of queues that have different topics. And a topic is a way for you to categorize a series of queues. So if you're at that sports arena, you might have an area for folks to get in, a queue for folks to get into the arena that's over on the one side, and that's for the second deck, the upper deck of the arena. And you might have some queues over on this side, and that's for folks that are on the court side seats, right? The rink side seats, those really expensive seats that I don't have access to. And those folks, they have their queues over there, and those are different topics that are made up of several queues that folks are participating in. And those different sets of queues, the notice on those that says, hey, this is the queue for you to get in and get to your seat, that's a little bit of what we call a subscription. And that's how we're going to interact with our service bus, is we're going to set up a topic for new categories. $25 from David. Thank you so much. And we'll make and my goodness, we're going to send out some. I think that's a sticker redemption. We'll send out a sticker pack to you. I'm ordering the stickers this week, so I can start fulfilling some of those. $25 donation to St. Jude. Thank you so much, David. It means very much to me that you're helping our cause here, and I will send out some Fritz stickers to you. I should have asked you for an address, so we can get that sent out. While I'm paused here and before I go create these, question here, am I excited about Visual Studio 2022 being more like a PC version for Mac or like the current version? The next version of Visual Studio 2022, coming out for Windows. We should see a first preview release in the next few months. They said they're aiming for a summer release. We'll see how it goes. Yes, I do work with the team. Yes, I may have inside knowledge. No, I'm not telling you. See how that works? There is a Mac update that's going to be delivered at about the same time. We're going to see how that goes, but those two teams, Visual Studio for Mac, Visual Studio 2022, those are working closer together so that we get code reuse and feature parity across both of those. Can you code with my mind if I use it? No. Another question here. Company won't even look at .NET 5 because it won't have LTS. That's okay. It's okay to skip an a current version like .NET 5. If you want to go to .NET 6, you want to make sure that you're using an LTS version. However, if you are working on a project, if you're starting a project that's going to be delivered in about 6 months, our goal as a .NET team is to make sure that you don't have a migration concern when you're going from a current version to an LTS version. So according to the version numbering that was announced previously, going from an odd major version number of .NET to an even major version number. So from 5 to 6 is a current to LTS migration. We want to enable you so that as you're building your next generation application that you want to deliver the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, start your development with .NET 5 so that as you get close to rollout, you should be able to just go in and change your version number to 6 and things should just start working. Or, even better, when those preview releases start coming out in the late summer, early autumn, August, September, October, those preview versions, release candidate versions for .NET 6, start migrating to them and getting those new features and those updates so that when you're ready to release your version and it's going to be .NET 6 enabled, you're not waiting and starting development in November. You're taking better use of your time, and you're also able to get some feedback from the .NET team if something doesn't quite look right, because the engineers are very engaged with folks that are writing code with the latest versions of the stuff that they're actually working on. So it's a catch-22. Yeah, you're working on the latest stuff. Something doesn't look right, you might find a bug when you're using a preview version. Hopefully you don't when you're looking at a release candidate version. But if you're working on a preview version and you find a bug, like we did in KlipTok, where it's it's not showing the native names for the cultures here. That should say English American, right? It's not. We reported that bug. They're going to fix it. I don't have a fix yet. It doesn't behave the way it should until I get that patch. But when they release that patch, I'll be able to deploy immediately and have the appropriate appearance over here. So it's a catch-22 of you're able to help. You're able to get your issues addressed. But if you're trying to release quickly before that scheduled release in November of the product, you're kind of going to struggle a little bit there. Pyrocat, I need to get you your the game that you won last week. I need to get you your copy of Accelerate. There's 2 copies out there that I just got the contact information from. Pyrocat and I forget the other one, PC Nerd. Well, I'll take care of that after stream here today. .NET MAUI will be a game changer. Completely agreed. Your .NET development is on pause until November. Okay. There's plenty for you to do with .NET 5, and the .NET 6 previews are happening. They're hot. You can try them out and hopefully grow in the right direction there. All right, so I think I have the category names correctly. Let me go back over here and let's set up our topic for new categories. So go back over here, right? So there is a topic now called new category. I have 3 topics: clip update, event sub, events, and new clips. So, right, clip update. So let's create a new topic. Can I create a new topic here? Why can't I? Oh, plus topic. All right, here we go. Make sure I give it the exact same name, because capitalization. See, that's not right. Come on now. Is it Control C? Am I on the Control? It is. Max topic size. I don't want to go. Okay, fine. A gig is my smallest. Fine. Max time to live. 1 day. Yep. Enable duplicate detection. Duplicate detection window 10 minutes. Sure. So it's going to create that topic. It's going to allocate that for me. You can see there's a lot of messages out here that it's pushing through as it gets new content, right? Those are outgoing messages. These are incoming messages coming in. So it's fanning out and notifying different things. So I need to create a subscription on new category so that we can start listening for this. So I'm going to add a subscription. There we go. And the subscription name for that is add category. Here, I'm noticing that should be all caps. I'm going to have to change that. And you couldn't really see it there. That's okay. Max delivery count 5. Auto delete after idle for 1 day. Okay. Manage message sessions. Message time to live in dead lettering 1 day. I don't need it. Message lock duration. Yeah, 30 seconds should be plenty. Create that. There we go. All right, so now there's a place on the service bus for me to interact. I'm going to rename this while I'm here. Did F2 work? Yes. Make sure this is all caps, because it's a constant. There we go. All right, back over to here. Update user. That's not it. Identify new categories. Here we go. Yep. All right, good. So now, if I did this right, what I should be able to do is I should be able to start this function app and drop onto the service bus. I can go into my migration app, load up all of that category information that is missing a category name, and start putting those entries on the service bus and see this thing take off. Make sense? I think I can do that. No rush. I want to deliver as promised. Is there a function Let me bring that up. I didn't scroll here. Let me go to this. Is there a function to allow you to search a single streamer and add clips? I try and do everything in bulk. So, I mean, you on the website it does allow you to search for a single streamer, right? I mean, I can go back over here, back up to the here, and I can search for C#Fritz, and it'll show me my clips. It should show. Yep, I'm live now. Gee, go figure. There they are. Does it allow me to search a single streamer and add clips? Well, like I said, I'm trying to do things as a batch. So when this wakes up, I go and grab all of the channels right now and search across them and say, find me new clips for all of these channels. Because doing that search as a batch is much more efficient in my communications back and forth with Twitch. Could I do that one at a time? Yes. And we're actually working on optimizing this. It would be inefficient for me to do that, to make that visibly available as for someone to say, oh, go refresh just this channel. What I want to do is detect when a stream is live, and only those streams that are live refresh clips immediately. It's just a little bit of work to get that set up and do that detection and only run at that time. And when folks aren't actively streaming, sync like once every 2 hours, or have somebody be able to push a button that says, hey, there's refresh the clips for this channel, and have it put a message into a queue that does that and effectively throttles it. We could do something like that. Because it's querying for all the channels all the time, every minute. I don't see a need to add a search for one clip search one streamer for their clips right now, because I am every minute effectively, to answer your question. That's right, Blazor, Mr. Magoo. How's it going there, my friend? Will I use a webhook from Twitch into Azure Functions for it to change the stream stats? Yes. That's exactly what we're doing. And we do have that interface set up. And we're verifying that we're receiving and we're maintaining that state properly inside the database, so that we do have that persistent webhook, because webhook subscriptions expire. So once I'm sure that we're confident in that, we're going to start replacing here where it says go get all. Instead of saying go get all the channels, we're going to say go get all live channels once a minute and do that refresh. And we'll set up something that that runs as a different function with slightly different timer. Where is it here? That will go and do that periodic refresh when folks haven't been streaming. So this way it kind of tails off. That for those folks that haven't been streaming, well, I'm not going to search for your clips. Right? Doesn't make sense. I can get more channels through if I'm not searching for folks that aren't streaming. So, okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, we can get the stream state being reported to us. All right. Let me go. I think I should create a migration entry then that will load up those categories and put them onto my my service bus topic here. Publish a message that says, here's a new category that we need to go look at. So I'm going to go up here. I have a migration project that I only use just to do loading data. Right? So I've got a test configuration. I reach right into my database context. Here's where I was migrating the search index right here. So I'm going to add another feature to this. And I keep all my other little my data migration things here, so that I can refer back to them if I need to at some point in the future. So let's say await identify missing categories, and I will create that. Okay. I'm going to want to reach into my categories table. So I'm going to say categories equals, oh, I need to pass in my configuration and my context. All right. All right. I configuration. No. I configuration. Come on. Config. Right? I thought I... Or is the configuration... Oh, it's static. I don't need that. Fine. My SQL DB context. DB context? Context. All right, so I can receive the database context and work with that. So let's say await context categories where, right? And I'm going to look for categories where, no, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not categories. I'm going to reach into clips. Oh, this is going to be ugly. This is going to take... This right here is going to take some time to run, because it's going to be doing a query on something that isn't indexed. Let me close this up so I can move the text over so you can see what I'm going to write here. So I'm going to go after... This is a... I'll use the abbreviation. Really? Come on, Visual Studio. TC is what I'm going to use as my variable name here. Such that the category ID, right? Right? That's the thing. No. Equals does not equal null, and the... Really? You're not going to give me that? Are you going to be... Oh, I didn't do where. Oh, jeez. TC category ID does not equal null, and now it's going behind my head here. Let's tab that over. TC category name is null, and is deleted equals 0. I think that's it. So let's cast that to array async. Come on. Right? Why don't you like this? The await operator can only be used. I didn't put an async on this. Thank you. All right, so now I also want to do a distinct on this. That's a Boolean. Okay. Is deleted equal false. So can I do a distinct? I don't have an equality comparer here. Who dat? Robert Tables!
Tables just resubscribed for 27 months.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday, friends.
Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for joining. Robert Tables is a member of the Live Coders team. Why didn't it make the announcement? So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I don't... Right? This should... Oh, there it is. See that? There we go. I'm converting it to an array. What is it just before the conversion? Just an... It's an iQueryable. So that's why I'm trying to do... You know what? Maybe we should do this as a from SQL. Let's do this as a from SQL. Because that way I can force the distinct... Yeah, there we go. Right? I can force the distinct value in there. So let's say the distinct qualifier. That's what I'm thinking. Category ID, category name. Actually, these are clips. Oh, rats. It's not going to let me do this easy. I got an idea. Let's go back. Change it back to the way it was. So we're I need to do a dot select. And now if I get, I just want the category ID. Now I should be able to say distinct on that. Because it's just an ID value. So at the point, thank you for reminding me of this. So this is going to turn into a SQL query here, as well as the select. The select is going to turn it into just a collection of integers, and we'll get that distinct, so we get just the values that we want. It's going to cast it now. This should be an array of, well, it's an array of strings, because the category is a string. So, just put star. No, that's not going to work for what I was trying to do. Okay. I want to put those on the service bus. So I need to create a service bus client. Oh boy. All right, equals new. Am I gonna... Can I do that? Is that what it is? I forget the signature for this. Generate class? No. Rats. All right, I forget how to do this. Help me out, chat room. C# Azure Service Bus Client. I forget how to create a client. Yes, please. So that I can go in and put some records on that service bus. Yeah. Getting started, blah, 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 blah. Azure Messaging Service Bus Client, new Service Bus Client. All right, so I bet I don't have that configured. So let's go to the migrate app. Add that package. Oh, it's just off the top of the screen. You're not missing anything. There it is. That was a lot. What am I doing? Installing Node? Okay. So authenticate the client. I need client equals new service bus client connection string. Okay, so this should now... see, it knows what to do. No. Where's my configuration? Where did I put it? Underscore config. I've scrolled too far. Config. Alright, I need to go look at my configuration. Figure out what that looks like. Connection string, yes. And I want to get into that queue. Thank you. Yes, I want to send a message. The queue name. So I'm going to create a sender. Sender equals client. Create sender, and we're going to reach into constants. Topic. Come on. Don't you know what this is? No. Category. All right. Why don't you like this? Using. Good. And I'm going to do send message async, but I'm going to be sending a batch of messages. Messages in queue. So I can create a queue of service bus messages. Create a batch. Ugh. I'd rather just do a for each and add those on, you know what I mean? Yeah, we didn't import it. You're right. All right, I am going to... how do I want to do this? So that I can take this off screen so I can do the... Get my configuration value to drop in there. I could just unplug the... and plug it back in, right? I mean, crude, but it works. Right? This is the high quality productions that you get here on this channel. Sorry. Give me 1 minute here while I go grab that configuration. It's a thing. Let me see. It is... I'm going to go find... I know I have this here. That's not there. Why don't I see this? That's gonna be difficult. Who dat?
Pyrocat just
Oh my gosh,
resubscribed for
Pyrocat!
5 months. This kind of production quality deserves my money. Smile.
Thank you so much, Pyrocat. And we'll make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You know what? I don't see a local settings on this machine for my back office application. Well, that's a pain. All right, I'm gonna have to step over here and go get one. Give me a second. Give me just a second. As we're coming up on time here, I just need to bring over that configuration file. I can't believe I don't have this over here. Come on, load it up. There we go. All right, high quality stuff here. it should be. And yeah, I don't see OneDrive running for me to be able to just go and grab that file real quick. Because I need my local settings configuration so it knows how to interact with the database as well. So here's this. Just going to grab this data real quick. There it is. Thank you. I think I have that copied. Let me add. I can't believe I didn't have this. There we go. Local.settings. Come on. Because the other thing it doesn't have, that didn't. No. Come on, let me rename this. Okay, I need to have that running locally, and... Right, is that the right value? Good. Alright, I've got all the values keyed in. What did I call it? Darn it. That. And I'll bring this back up and we'll run through the test. There we go. Make sure it's closed. Yes. Okay, now we should be able to see this. Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, it's fine that comments are not permitted in JSON. You're good. You're good. All right. I'm going to keep going because I've also got... How you doing there, Sector? Good to see you. Okay. I have the data. I have my connection here. I need to create that new category message. So let's do this. Let's just do one to start. Equals new. Where is it? Right, because new category event. And we need to get what that is. Why doesn't it know what it is? It's coming out of new category event, new category event. KlipTok back office events. Oh, you son of a gun. And why isn't that giving me the ability to reference it? Yeah, rats. Hey, Caparino. Yeah, we did. Then I'm going to rotate later. Okay. I'm flustered now. I need to get a reference to where this thing lives, but it lives inside the wrong project. It's in this events. And I'm not going to be able to deserialize to it. It needs to be over, not in event sub. It needs to be over in like common. And that's a refactoring that I just don't have time for, and I have about 10 minutes till we're going to cut over to... I'm going to save this for now. Commit my changes locally here. And I'll finish this migration later. I mean, look at all the stuff that we've got coming in here, my goodness. This is a big change coming. I didn't do anything in client, but I did in migrate. Started migration code. So if we look here, I'm on an isolated branch called fix clip sync that we're going to be updating. There we go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step away from the Mac. I'm going to rotate keys because I did inadvertently put that up on screen, even though I thought I closed it. And move things along here. I've become kind of good at rotating keys. So let me get that set up right now. And and then we'll talk about Solarwinds and we'll get that going. Thank you so much, David, for the 25 donation there. Let me head over to here. I'm kind of angry. Not gonna lie. Kind of angry about that. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code and move it over to a different screen. Holy smokes. There we go. And jump into here. Oh, gosh. Well, that's okay. Oof. All right. Let's see. We're gonna run over here to. Let me start with the service bus one because it has the least impact. Oh, what a pain! What a pain! Let me see here. We've got. We're gonna pull this off briefly, and. Where the heck are the keys? It's not on properties. No. Where'd they move the keys to? Am I the key master? Kind of. Kinda. Not gonna lie. Is it access control? Did they move it there? No, that's... Where the heck did they move access keys? In the connection string. It's not coming up in search. It's also no. There it is. It's under shared access policies. All right, let me see. Ah, that's what I thought. Wait a sec. Oh, are you kidding? So I'm creating a new access policy for the service bus. And see, I have 4 access policies. So I'm going to go into this new one that I've created, rotated keys, and deploy the connection strings out of this. And I'll then be able to go back in there and delete the old keys. So that local settings is updated. That one doesn't even have one. Okay. And I need to go deploy it also across all of KlipTok, so it's using the new service bus. Azure Portal is so hard to navigate? No, it's not hard to navigate. What's hard is they keep changing the names of things. And they keep shuffling the locations of things. So you get into one mindset of, oh, here's where the thing is that I need to use that time, and it's not there next time you come back, because hopefully you're not managing your Azure services every day. So I'm going to be going into my configuration here and changing some of the settings on all 3 of my applications. I should be able to click into this and it should be masked. I'm not going to take any chances. Last thing I need to do is to dox myself while I'm trying to de-dox myself. Here we go. I also don't like that I can't... yes, that one's updated. I can't right-click and change a configuration setting. I have to go scroll all the way across this setting. It's not on that one either. Okay. I guess the service bus is only running in the back office. All right. Next. No. That's going to be a pain in the neck to do. That's going to be a real pain in the neck to do. I got to change the database password. Let me see here. Oh, reset password. Where is it? Do this. Yes. And I'll key those in. The database should be the least concerned because it has an additional firewall there. Where it only allows you to connect if you are on my location, if you're using my IP address. But I still have to go through and update that. So I'm going to save that, and that's going to immediately break everybody. So... Who dat? Stelzy!
Steel279 just resubscribed for 30 months.
Thank you so much. Why didn't that copy? So for the next minute or two here, the database connection is down for the production site. There, that should get it back running. Good. And I'm reaching into, here's the database. What a pain, man. Yep, all right. Database is updated. I'm okay with those other two for right now. All right. When you're not used to Azure Portal, it is rather hard to navigate. True. I'll agree with you on that one. Navigating the Azure Portal, if you're not familiar with it, is tricky. Because it's different. It's not like any other configuration. It's not like any other application that you've probably worked with before. It's just different. Something that you're probably not used to seeing. So the navigating back and forth and searching and finding things is tricky to do. But I want to jump in and I want to talk a little bit about SolarWinds. Some of the things that I'm running into here with KlipTok got me reaching out and talking to a couple folks where what I was seeing, what I'm running into here is I want to be able to measure performance of some of those, and you've seen me try and test the performance of some of the Azure functions, some of my database interactions, and it's clumsy. It's something that I know there's better tools out there for doing this. And when I think about application performance management, that's where somebody like SolarWinds comes in. Now I've got there's a image and a link through to the SolarWinds website so you can learn more about them, learn more about their products. But they sent me over a couple demos to check out here on stream that I thought we'd take a look at, and they wanted to help me out and say, you know, Jeff, we've seen some of the work you've been doing with KlipTok. We think we have a good solution that's going to help you detect performance issues, that's going to help you detect uptime with Pingdom, their application status monitor that is able to script and interact with websites from all over the world and tell you if not just the website's up, but that it's responding, and it allows you to interact with various features appropriately. So there's things there that we can investigate and get some information out of. They've got this new, it's an APM integrated experience dashboard that we're going to take a look at here. And it all runs off of, if I go out to App Optics, I think it's myappoptics.com. Did I spell it wrong? I probably did. And we'll be able to log in here and see. Yeah, here we go. So this is SolarWinds App Optics. This is part of their this new integrated experience that they have. And it you can click through it and do a 30-day free trial. That's pretty cool. I've got a 30-day free trial set up for us to wire up to KlipTok so we can see what kind of information it starts fetching about the uptime and the performance of our application here on stream. But they gave me a couple demos here to take a look at, and I want to spin through them and get your feedback, chat room, and talk about it a little bit here on stream. So let me go log in to the application. I see a couple comments here from folks they've used SolarWinds. Caparino asks, is it a firewall that companies like Microsoft use to monitor their network? There are some other products they have. We're specifically looking at application monitoring. I'm not familiar if they have a firewall tool. L-Razor X0 in their last job used SolarWinds to configure network gear as well as use it for monitoring what they were up to. There you go. There's a ton of products that they have, and we're just going to explore a couple of them here. Let me see here. You thought it would be taboo? No. F5 is very popular for firewalls. Yeah, there's a bunch of folks out there, but we're going to take a look at SolarWinds here for a minute. So this is the initial dashboard that they give you. Let me roll this back for the demo organization. See, they set me up with a demo organization here so we could take a look and learn a little bit more about the product. So I'm going to have it go back for 3 days because they reset this demo every few days. So this is something that, right, they let other folks take a look at and get through this, right, and learn a little bit more about the product. So, all right. So first thing that they have for us to take a look at is how we can do performance testing for something in our development environment. So uptime outages, transaction outages, services by response time trend, and right, it looks like the response time for booking services definitely taking a little bit longer here. This one, 6 milliseconds. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic search response time, and it's up 23%. 23%, and it's just now reaching 6 milliseconds. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good. Some of these other ones taking a few seconds to do. It looks like some back-end processing. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on with the well, actually, there's a service level dashboard here. Where is it? Dashboard. Let's take a look at this. And we can look at, this is the hotel booking app. We can look at the performance of how this is going. Oh, look at that. All right. All right. I'm feeling it. So average latency, last of the average is 43 milliseconds when we're looking over the last 60 minutes. Now, right, I said this is a sample that they stand up and they recycle every now and again. So let me back this up and let's look over the last 3 days so we can catch where, see, I mean, there's a little bit of some conjecture in the sample here, right? They've forced some scenarios so that we can see areas like this where there's a problem, right? Average response time, average latency 154 millisecond, requests per second 147 requests per second. Error rate, yeah, that's a lot of errors. Average response time is 1.2 thousand milliseconds, so 1.2 seconds. Okay, and we can see query latency happening in here, and look at that, mousing over it, it's telling me the MongoDB booking service is taking time finding rooms, finding a hotel. So for, right, the sample app here is a hotel, right? You're going to book a hotel room, right? We're going to be traveling, coming out of pandemic, and this is a faux application that they've got here for us to tinker around with and see how it's processing. So this is kind of cool that we can see immediately in our dashboard the database query that's running slow and be able to dig into that a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, it looks like it's that booking service is what's slow here. So what we can do then, can I go into the services and can we look at that booking service? Right, so booking service has no errors reported. And if we look at the map here, the service map, right, look at this. It's showing us how all the various pieces of this fit together. Now, if I back out, I think, yeah, wait, look here. The web tier is over here. That's got it's got a red state. That booking service is over here. Can we organize this a little bit better? Ah, there we go. That's better. So, what's over here? Let's look into this one. Okay. That's a problem. Not gonna lie. So if I view service details, right, looks like way over here. Let's back this up. Can we see, right, response time, request rate, error rate? I have a feeling there's something else going. Most of the time it's being spent in the web tier code base. Let me go back. Because right in that sample that we saw over here, it looked like the booking service, but I feel like we're kind of disconnected here because we don't have the date filter, so it's not going back far enough. All right, well, up here there's a transactions thing, so we can see the pingdom transactions that run. So, right, what this is doing is It's actually running transactions. Not just, hey, can I get to the website, but go to the website, do a thing, find some response code, and evaluate it. So here, there's a script here for the hotel booking. So if I click into this, right, look, right there. That's kind of cool that we can see that immediate jump. Like, look at this. And it's showing us what kinds of tests it's running. So if I click into the check, look, 4.8 seconds. All right, so it's testing from US West. I guess it's somewhere on the West Coast, right? Every 5 minutes. This is kind of cool. Look at this. There's a check editor where it actually spits out, right? Or it's built a script that says, oh, go to this website, fill in this field with this value, fill in this field, blah, 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 and it's doing a search, and it's expecting to find different things here. So, right, if I go into one of these and we change this, so click checkbox, I don't know, let's just create a misspelling here. Right, it's rerunning the entire test, and breakfast doesn't exist, so it should give me an error there, right? Right? It's looking for, yeah, there you go. It can't find that thing, but it's actually running through, and it's like a quality assurance inspection of the application, of the web application, and clicking and interacting with it. So look at that. It even knows. Right, so what if I click in here, fill in field, what happens? Right, with label name CSS selector with some text. So let me cut that out of there. What happens if I start typing in here? Right, look, it's trying that thing up top. Look at that. Oh, but look, it's giving me some of these fields that are on the page. Some of the HTML to search for. So that's kind of cool. I don't have to be really knowledgeable in how the HTML is structured, how the page is structured, to build and walk through and do these types of transactions. Let me put the value back in there that was there. So that's really cool that it fills that out for me so I can build an appropriate test. And friends, do you see where I'm kind of thinking this makes sense to be able to hook up to KlipTok and have it go and click on different things on the page? Hey, make sure that I can search for C# Fritz, and that it shows me he's got a bunch of clips and that some of his clips are liked, and do some validation, right? I mean, it's going through and clicking search, it's clicking a checkbox, it's clicking checkout. I like that. I like that a lot. So it's running this transaction every time. That's pretty cool that we can see that transaction. Okay, but I want to see where this is, right? Where that issue is right there that's going on. So no status changes here. But if I want to go through and show, right, if I want to take a look at exactly how that's not working, they give me a link here to jump right in and take a look. Well, actually, let me go back. I don't want to do Log Explorer. I should be able to get right there from here. So if I go back to services, right? Yes, this isn't. That's running really slow. That's running really slow. Let me try jumping into one of these. I want to see if I can find where one of these things is running slow. UHF, that's not bad at all. That's not a bad question at all. I've got this up here. I need to bring that back down. Right there, we had an issue. I think you're onto something. UHF asking, hey, could some of this instrumentation from SolarWinds brought attention to the database connection issue where we were creating too many connections and we were zorching memory on the database? A couple weeks ago we saw that. Exactly that type of scenario is why I said I need to get better about this and why I want to check out SolarWinds, because they've got a really good name in this space, and these tools feel very connected. I want to check out someplace where it's running a little slow here. Let me go into the pricing service. Right, response time is it's kind of slow here. I mean, not gonna lie, 2 seconds, and we can see where there's an outlier here. Right, 44 minutes ago it was posting an update and it took 2 seconds, and I can click in and I can see that my local code is what's causing this. That jump is amazing. Hang on, let me do that again. Right, so there's all the connections that were being done. Okay, show me just the ones that are okay. And it's not like there's an outlier here. They're always taking 2 seconds. So I feel like even though it's taking that long, this might not be too bad. We're okay here. Let me see if I can find one of these services that's kind of, well, okay. Let's look at web tier. Error rate is up. Average response time. Let me look at the error rate. Let's see what's over here. Right? Oh, gosh. All right. So I'm able to see errors and how long they're taking. So, I mean, look at some of these ones that are taking a long time up here. I can, right, if I were to zoom in on, right, I can draw a box around some of these. 121 milliseconds, and I'm getting a 500, HTTP 500. Failed to open TCP connection to booking-service. Connection refused. Connecting to booking-service port 8080. Right? So I can see all the details. It's coming and where my time is being spent. This is really cool. Failed to open a TCP connection to booking service. Connection refused for booking service. So there's the error message. Cool, right? And oh, we can jump to logs. Look at that right there. Should we delete the thread.sleep 2000 line? That's a fine idea. I'm sure to kind of create this synthetic issue here. They've done something similar, and I get it. I totally get it. So let me go back, say 28 days, and see if, right, searching. I mean, there's a mountain of logs here that it's tracking going across the various microservices and parts of this. So it's still not finding. Wow. It only keeps logs for so long here. So it might have rolled out. We might have lost that. Let me see. Oh wait, you know what? It opened a new browser. So this happened on the 11th. It should have popped up for today. I mean, that's today. Right? 7 days to now. Should have picked that up. Right? Last 6 hours. No, not finding it. Do I have an extra filter or something on here? No. Not quite sure why it's not finding that. Okay, so it is kind of cool that we can see and we can jump through all the way to log files on those. Maybe there's a... Oh, look at this. Right? The request wait per second completely dropped off in the last hour. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. Being able to see exactly where. But I wanted to get into here where the booking service earlier today was misbehaving. Right? That's not where I wanted to be. It is over here. I wanted to look at that booking service. Right, if I jump into here, no errors. But yeah, see it right there. See that response time? How it's spiked? Don't have any trace requests. Maybe they just recently reset the sample here. But yeah, this is what I want to see right there. But it looks like it's resetting. Some of the data here is fresh. What is local code? Local code is the code that we wrote. It's our code that's running local to that machine. It's not we're waiting for some other service to respond. That was the request per second. Well, I'm looking at the response time right here. Right, the request rate dropped off. Yeah, something happened and our request rate stopped. Right, it's backed off. I don't know. Maybe everybody's going to lunch or something. Okay. So there's also, right, when that stuff is running slow, right, we can, right, there's alerts there. We can create alerts. So monitor health across hosts to understand vitals, know when hosts have stopped. Okay, cool. We can alert on service health metrics like latency, error rate. So to the point that we had earlier, I want to know when I'm throttling my database, when I'm pounding it, and it's not responding quickly. So I could reach into like the booking service and say when latency, and so service response time, right? Let me do that again. Suggested service metrics to monitor. And what do we have in here? I could search for other metrics, but error rate, latency in the 95th percentile, the number of requests. So if I want to say when latency is really slow, right? Filter metric on any of the tags. Let me go try a different service because it doesn't have any data here. Let me try the web tier. There we go. Okay. So do that again, right? Latency for the web tier. So when your request to get a web page starts running slow, so when it goes above, these are milliseconds. When that latency goes above 20 milliseconds for 5 minutes, so there's the 20 millisecond line. All right. So I would have gotten paged in here because it went above 20 milliseconds. 20 milliseconds is really fast. You think the logs I was looking for were from April 11? I might have been searching on the wrong time frame. I don't see a date range on this screen, so don't know. Realistically, 50 milliseconds is plenty speed, plenty fast. If I change it to like that, I love that I get the little gauge here that shows me immediately that I'm right. I can look at this and I can kind of eyeball exactly how much and when I would have been paged recently. Ace says 24 is with us here. Hey there, Ace. Thank you so much for the resub. 8 months with us, and we'll make another donation to St. Jude. So what I'd really like to see here, what might be cool, a little bit feedback for the Solarwinds folks, is when I'm setting this up, maybe somehow detect, hey, there, for this threshold, we would have paged you twice. Whatever. We would not have paged you yet. Just to give you that little bit of insight so you know that you're creating a response. You're creating a threshold that's realistic. Right? Looking at this, right, when it was 20 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds is really fast for a website. Going above 20 seconds, gosh, Jeff, we would have paged you twice. And that kind of helps me think, maybe I want it to be a little bit slower. It to be a threshold. Dukasoft!
Subscribed for 6 months. Woohoo.
Thank you so much for that. And another donation to St. Jude. Looks like the date range is on the top nav next to the magnifying glass. Oh gosh. All right. See that? I looked away. So, all right, I'll push it back to the last 3 days, and if I try that booking service again that looked like it was running slow, there we go. Not gonna lie. There's a lot of, right now we can really see, we would have paged you a lot. But it would be cool to see, here's how many times we would have paged you in there. So I'm not going to go through and finish creating this because, right, if I go through and do next, it's going to give me, well, here, how do you want me to notify you? Mail, phone call, text message, these things. And finally enable it. So I'm not going to go through and finish enabling that, but I really like being able to know and see versus the current trends of my application, how frequently that's going to run. Let me try that services again. Now if I do last 3 days. Now, all right, now I'm seeing this. See that? Thank you. I looked away and got confused between the various bits here. So the response time, now I've got some outliers up here that make sense, right? Like what's going on up in here? 127 milliseconds. 6 errors detected, right? Null pointer exceptions. It's local code. I'm willing to bet, right? I'm willing to bet we can find one in here that is like just the database is running slow, something like that, right? These aren't too far out from yesterday. 6 errors detected, local code, and it's this same null pointer exception several times. So, right, this is going to trigger me to go and look at, well, I can look at a trace. My goodness. It's in my Spring application. I'm getting a 500 error null pointer exception. It's kind of cool. So, and look, all the way down through the exact stack traces of everything. All right, I'm in. That's really cool. Easy to filter through and learn more about. Okay. All right. And if I go all the way to the top, right, where was it? Search logs. So let's see if it finds. This was the 10th. Yeah, this is going back 7 days. I have a feeling there's something just off on the sample data here, and it's not finding the log. Dr. Einstein asks, how's this different from Application Insights? Application Insights doesn't have this level of integration and paging and the ability to go back and forth and drill down so nicely all the way into some of this data. So, all right, let me back up. Not familiar with those products. Centrax, I haven't used those. So, and Grafana I thought runs on Kubernetes. I'm not running Kubernetes from my application. So, okay, the other demo they wanted me to take a look at is a failed transaction test. So if I go back to the home page, hey, there's Peter. Let me take care of something here. Yeah, if you want to go check out the booking demo site, there's the link for solarsuites.info. Good to see you. I'm going to put a little VIP tag on you there so that folks know you're one of our friends from Solarwinds. So here's the actual website that it's testing. solarsuites.info. Loading. You see why we got a performance issue here? We gotta work through and resolve. Am I missing a dub in front? No. Did it assume the SS? Yeah, it had the SSL on it, and it's not. Right. So nice sample website with New York City, Singapore, London hotels. The Golden Eye in London. Is that a James Bond reference? Yeah. Anyways. And prices are amazing. That's great. Right, so those tests that we saw, it's doing things like do a search for somewhere in London to go and get a room. and it's clicking through, right? And we know it's choosing one of these rooms. Yeah, there's that breakfast checkbox that script is clicking to make sure that it works, right? I mean, I just did this by hand, but that script we saw does that for us every 5 minutes just to make sure it works. $10 a night! Operators are standing by. The fun things we do with sample data, just so we can make sure that we've got something to verify it works. Love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah, time period not specified. Right, it's back when hotel rooms at $10 were a pretty good thing. So, all right, let me go back to the transaction tests. So I'm going to go back over here to the transaction where we saw how it automatically navigates through those. And there's an error here. Look at the little red line. So if we look at this one, it should show us an error in here. Yeah, look, there's a couple of errors. There's one that happened 5 minutes ago. Right, we can see there was some sort of an error with this. So we can click in and it's going to give us a root cause analysis. Well, just like we saw, it was taking a little bit longer to get to the website. Okay, makes sense. Here's another one that had an error in step 2. So if we take a look at this, right, element login does not exist. So it got some content and, right, server is temporarily unable to service your request due to downtime or capacity. See that the sample was restarting. Right, the various response times, look, 10 seconds, something happened now, it runs a lot faster in here, and it's creeping up, right? And that's the kind of thing that we saw in KlipTok also. Going back to our database issue that we had, we saw, right, our database started getting slower and slower and slower, and as we diagnosed, and we started going through some of the very primitive tools that we had to connect to the database and look at the connections, we could see the connections increasing, where if we had used something like Solarwinds and their integrated experience that they have here, we'd be able to debug through and see exactly where those errors are happening, walk all the way back down the stack. Right, and the check, we saw this check here, right, and this is what we started going through. So this is testing from the Pingdom European data centers, right, the Pingdom product that's now integrated with Solarwinds offering here. So it's doing that same thing. It's going to Solar Suites, trying to log in, and it got that error trying to log in. Tester at testing, go find the login container, and on the nth child, fill in a password, a test password. And it's looking for specific items here. So what's interesting, when I think of writing a test for navigating and managing my website, I want to tell it, go find a label with this name. And it's really cool that it's going through and using the CSS IDs and saying, well, go find that collection and step through. Okay. And it just clicked on, right, whatever the first hotel name was, and it's using a bootstrap column here. All right, that's cool. Breakfast and parking, checkout, and our name at checkout is Testy McTestface. Nice. Not gonna lie, not a bad name to have in there, so when you go back and you look at the test data, you're like, oh, yeah, there's the test runs. It was Testy McTestface. Makes perfect sense. And a credit card number that is incredibly bogus. That's fine. Description of Pingdom test run. And, oh, okay, so these blue ones, they look like those are actions. And the green one here is doing a validation. Div success should contain was successful. So if this completely runs, right, it's taking all those blue actions, and then the green one, it's saying, make sure we saw the was successful element on the page. And that's how we know we had a successful test coming from our Pingdom services and reporting back. Okay, that's cool. But and these errors, it kind of makes sense. The service was restarting and we're able to see immediately exactly what was responded to the transaction, right? So when I go back and I think now about my Azure functions, just API interactions, to be able to see the output coming out of them like this is extremely valuable, because right, I can't tell you how many times folks have said to me, and you've seen it here on this stream, friends, folks have said to me, gosh, I'm trying to use KlipTok on my browser. I'm using Safari, I'm using Chrome, and this doesn't look quite right. And how do I replicate that experience? So being able to get the exact experience, the code for the HTML dumped out like this, or the error message output here like this, that's extremely handy to have in our tool bag to be able to work here. Okay, so we want to take a look and see what happens with service levels and why those service levels aren't reporting properly. And I think I already did dive down into these traces. So let me see. View service detail. I went into the services. I thought I went through into this a little bit. Yeah, I did go through and look at this part, right? And if we take this back to the last 3 days, right, there's error rates, the request, the response time taking a little bit longer. So let's go into the web tier this time and see if we can look at the response time, right? So it was taking a long time in here. 50,000 milliseconds, dear Lord. Back on there, let's see if we can find this. There's an unhandled error at this moment where? On KlipTok? I wouldn't be surprised. I was trying to push that over. No, it's working properly. I'm in and able to see that. Yeah. You might be getting something coming out of the try log out and log back in. So that's working just fine. You're getting it on the about page. See this? This is exactly the kind of thing that we need to resolve. That is a translation happening. Trailing comma not allowed before array and in the... Yeah, that's... Try doing a hard refresh. And that should update. It's the... It's downloading the... yeah. Look at this. This is exactly the kind of thing why we need this. Right? But I'm not sure... that we might be a little bit further ahead because there's... When we talk about what this tool does, what it's seeing here, these are back-end services that it's seeing. It can also track front-end SDK interactions. If I take a look over here, what's happening and what's being raised by folks in chat is this is a front-end interaction that we would want to be able to trace and log, and there are SDK hookups with the Logly tool that's part of SolarWinds that we might be able to wire up and get some of this information. So yeah, there's... What we're seeing here is there's a trailing comma, a rogue trailing comma happening inside of the Croatian translation. That's not bad. We can fix that easy. That I'm not going to delve too far into that right now. That's an easy fix, and it's not stopping the experience over there. So let me finish looking at this. So response times, I thought there was a way... Right, I'm looking at the last 3 days. 120 milliseconds feels like, well, it looks like it's within. Right, it looks like it's, and these are all 500 statuses. Well, that stinks. Nobody likes a 500 status. I mean, it's taking 2 seconds, right? It's a remote call, and it's trying to call into the booking service, and it's erroring out after 2 minutes, is what's happening here in this demo. So that's kind of cool to be able to trace all the way down and see exactly what's going on. Can we look at the details on that? Right? So, and I like that we can see the entire stack. Look, 140 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds on the database. Going through Java and Spring, it's 5-10 seconds. There's something going on there. But then 2 minutes on this HTTP call. So it's on a read timeout trying to get to a service. So I would look at, well, why is this thing not returning? So, no, Shmuley, I did not create a GitHub organization. Oh wait, no, maybe I did. I'd have to take a look. Let me get back to you on that. Not building a new app. I'm looking, Eagle. I'm looking at the SolarWinds offerings here. Our friends over there at SolarWinds reached out. They said, we've got some really good tools that are going to help you monitor KlipTok a little bit better. We heard you're having some problems with monitoring your database interactions, with monitoring some of your functions behaving properly. We think this is going to help expose some of those challenges that you're having, so that you can properly go through, diffuse those, and make better use of your cloud resources. So that's a little bit of the direction that I'm exploring here, and they sent me over this demo organization that we're kind of exploring around, and a couple of demos to kind of follow through and see right in these contrived examples. Given it's a real website out there that they've built some failures into, so we can see database issues. Right here, it's trying to connect to a service that gets knocked down, and for 2 minutes they're trying to connect to it, and it just doesn't respond. So we can see what happens when our services, microservices, don't connect properly. So I think there's some real value that we can get from trying to wire up and use this with some of our Azure resources here. I agree, Robert Tables. You know what? You are spot on there, my friend. Having a demo that's using the live website, but it's in its own tenant here, a demo tenant, that's a really cool idea, and have it recycle, and it's effectively, they've got that chaos monkey that Netflix wrote about how many years ago, that's going around and it's shutting down a service, or hey, we're going to make the database take too long to respond for a little bit, so we're going to create these fake errors so you can see and get some value out of what these samples look like. And I love being able to see the entire stack of services over there and how they integrate, and exactly where my request is going through, whether it's the database, the Spring layer, Java, HTTP, Faraday, Rails, Rack, being able to see exactly how how the timing of those transactions are affected by each layer of the application. I'm feeling that, and when I think about our application that's running on Azure functions that are dependent on a MySQL database, and those Azure functions also interact with a service bus, I think about over here, where was it? In my services, and there's this really cool map that we can see of how all the pieces that the SolarWinds agents that are deployed into my service, how they see they're behaving properly. And I've got a big red box there around my web tier. It's not behaving properly. I can see my other services here with some green. It looks like it's working properly, but being able to get that immediate manage by exception of it's not working properly. App Insights does have similar functionality, but I'm really feeling how these folks have pulled the pieces together, and they take a couple steps beyond what App Insights does. Peter points out that if we want to show an example summary that has a potential database issue, that's a cool idea. Yeah. Let me copy that link and let me take a look. I'm just gonna go. Let's open a new tab so we can show but there's a database issue. There we go. So there we can see it took 4 seconds to connect to the database, and our local code took a second, at almost 2 seconds. So yeah, look at the database query. Find. It's doing an AND on an OR where the transaction exists, created at. Look at this query. Dear Lord. No wonder it confused Mongo. Right? It is all about UI UX. Absolutely. App Insights isn't super easy to work with. I've also run into some challenges with data retention with them. That for my needs are a little bit, aren't going to work in the short term. So I want to evaluate an option, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. So my database query here on average takes 12 milliseconds, but the total in this run was 3.34 milliseconds. I mean, that's a long time. Let's click into the trace there, and no. Yeah, okay, can we go to the trace? No. Refresh that. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Look at how much data it brought in on that details. So I can see exactly what's going on. I probably have too many browsers open, and I'm probably loading too much data at once here. Let me close those. I've got... Come on. I mean, I could already see that this was a big amount of data that it was trying to paint on the screen. Yeah, see, I clicked stop and it... Okay. There we go. All right. So, MongoDB, look at that. 1797 span counts. 5 seconds in duration over here. So, and these other ones didn't add much to it, right? The query, 894 counts, averaged 4.8 milliseconds, but there's a lot going on there. This feels like an N, right? An N+1 query. And we can see, well, let's go look at the logs, right? And this took place on the 12th. So let me go grab this. And let me walk this back so it includes the 12th. Back to about here. Search. So we can see exactly that database query. Yeah, there we go. So there's the trace ID, right? Information about the Docker container, severity info, the Kubernetes container image ID. Look at that. All right. Can we get severity that isn't informational? Well, no, I guess it's just telling me informational. But if I open one of these up, now it's a little bit easier for me to read. Okay. So message processing by hotels controllers show as, and there's the trace ID, web tier, that container, Kubernetes, syslog, facility host, priority. Okay. I mean, it's kind of cool that I can get all of the log information. Notifications. 2 key value pairs were not indexed due to invalid values. So we're running into searching against data that isn't being indexed properly. Right? Look at it here. That's kind of cool that we're getting that level of reporting coming out of this. All right. All right. I think I'm ready to take the Pepsi challenge. So, most of the log events in the demo system are informational. Yeah, it's informational, but we should be able to see log events from all the services as various things happen. So, I know there's a way we can hook this up to an Azure service, and really, one of the things that I've been told is they've made the Solarwinds tools so easy to wire up. They want to make it like literally just a handful of clicks and it'll work with your system. So I've got a organization set up here for Fritz and Friends. If I click through in here, I don't want to do a setup here, because what I want to do, I want to hook it up to my Azure host. So let me see. I want to do an integration, and I'm going to hook up to an Azure integration right here. No current, yes, let's configure a tenant. So my Azure login is this, and my tenant domain, pardon me for a second while I go grab that information. it is because I don't want to show my Active Directory live on stream, because I've already made that mistake once today. So let me go in here, and my tenant domain is this. Let's see if we can get that connected. Sign into my account. Permissions requested, yes. You may have those permissions. And there we go. Okay, okay. So let's open this up. No, we're not going to work on that one. It is in this subscription is where we're going to work. So I can start connecting it. I have an app service for my static website. I don't have a Cosmos. It's functions. I do have a key vault, but I'm not really using my key vault. So let me turn that off for now. Not really a load balancer. It's front door. Network interface. No. I don't have Redis. I have MySQL. I saw a MySQL integration over on the other page. So let me go back to that one when I'm done here, and we'll integrate that. I do have Azure storage that I use, and I don't use any virtual machines. So let me save that. Tenant updated. Okay. Cool. So now what? If I go back here, is it going to show me? So let me see. If I take a look at my Azure storage, right? Because I know I've got tables out there. None of them named Robert. I'm guessing it hasn't loaded any data yet. Right? Because I literally just wired it up. So, yeah, in the last 60 minutes, it's probably still trying to load data. But I thought, where's the functions? Go back one more. Yes, the tables, you are out there. I see what you're doing. I turned that off. I'm down in here. Yeah. I'm guessing it hasn't synced yet, and it's going to take a little bit to do that. Hey, Aurora, good to see you. Right, I'm guessing this is going to take just a little bit to do. Storage is where I have stuff. It's not reflecting exactly what I loaded yet. Let me see if I can go back to hosts and do the integrations and see if I can put one on that MySQL database. Right, I thought I saw MySQL in here. Node, Oracle. Oh, MySQL. Yeah, how do I do that? Can I put something on my MySQL database? Select my platform. Well, it's running in the cloud. So it's not on Amazon Linux. I don't know what it's running on. Let me just guess Windows. Download Windows Host Installer, and here's my API token. Well, I can't really install it on there. You just got out of work and this is what you chose to watch? Hey there, Oak6128. Welcome in. No, I don't think it's... I need to go back and explore that, but I know I can do the uptime monitoring for KlipTok. I know I can hit that, because this is just checking to see if it's... right, if it's up. Right, so... Yes, that's me. I'm in Pennsylvania. Time zone, I'm in Central. Not Central, I'm in Eastern time. I'm not going to put my phone number in there. There's my email address. What URL would I like to monitor? I'll put that in just a second. Start. Get this loaded up. Yeah. So that should be agent offline. Okay. Yep. So, helpful, get me started things over here. Let me add a check for KlipTok. So, let's call this KlipTok, right? I want to make sure my website is up. Okay, and let's have it check Can we pull this over? It's not pulling over. Oh, there it goes. Recommended is 1 minute. I trust you. Yep, we'll do a web check on an HTTPS. URL that we want to go to is https kliptok.com. Test from North America and Europe. Sure, that makes sense. Importance, very important. Who to alert? Me. I don't know who that other one is. Consider down after 30-second timeout. You think 30 seconds is enough? Yeah, this is a common feature. A lot of platforms have this. Have this type of test to see if it's up. But I'm going to go and put the script in there also. It's down alert after 5 minutes. Yeah, sure. Customized message. KlipTok is down. We need to fix. Alert when back up. Sure, let me know that. Connection integrations. I'm not going to integrate with anything. Those are integrations like send a message in Microsoft Teams or in Slack or Discord, those types of things. So this is pinging the website. Hey, piece of pizza.
Piece_A_pizza just resubscribed for 24 months.
24 months, 2 years with us. Thank you so much. And we're going to make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So just testing the website looks good. Now, I agree with you, Eagle. I want to also test my API. And I could do that. I can do that from outside. I think I can test that also. I can just go to kliptok.com/API/ and go and try some of that. Like, hey, just go make sure that I can get clips. So let's call this fetch clips check, right? And I want to make sure that I can get to kliptok.com/API. And let me look at my... Ooh, didn't put that on screen. Good, Jeff. You didn't show everybody all the code again. So looking at my app over here, one of the basic simple functions that I want to make sure it checks is going to be just, yeah, this one, get clips. So it's API/get clips. So let's have it go to there, right? And I can verify that I'm getting something from that before I go and tell this, hey, you need to go find that thing. And I'm not getting any data. Why didn't I get any data? /API/get clips should have... Oh, am I getting... Get clips I like? No, I don't want that one. I want to get the discovery list. This one right here. Is it looking for... Let me try a different one. Nah. Okay, well, this one isn't bad. Suggested streamers. That should be... Right? Should always be able to get... Yeah, there they are. There's the 5 suggested streamers. Jake and Bake Live, Amaranth, Code Miko, Symfunny, and Fusely. So that's fine. We can send it to this location to test. So there's that. Sure, North America and Europe. High importance. Consider down after so long. So now we're testing the Functions app. Test that. Error 404. Really? kliptok.com/API/suggested streamers. I thought that's where I just was. Right, let me get rid of that HTTPS up front. Try that again. 404. I don't feel good about that. Why am I getting a 404? Let me try North America. Wow. Okay. Since my app is a progressive web app, yeah, it is being heavily cached by Azure front door. Oh, you know what this is? I know what this is. I know what this is. So I have Azure front door set up where if it detects a bot coming through and connecting, if it sees the header contains the keyword bot, it's routing over to, it's not connecting to the API. It's actually connecting over to the static website, which doesn't have this address. It's not connecting into that. That's interesting. Right? Because I'm assuming it's carrying something that says pingdom bot in the header connection. Right, so I can monitor network connectivity, DNS, UDP, but I wanted to just go to a website. It's not going to go to that API. Because of how I've got routing on my Azure front door. Oh, great catch. Okay. Also, right, this is actually bouncing off of the static website when it goes and fetches this data. Right? Like, look, there, I can take a look at the test log. Coming out of Chicago, it ran just fine. I can look at the, right, all of the log. Not great response time, but that's fine. It's running. And Thessalonica, it's coming back in 1.3 seconds. So yeah, that's slow. At some point, I need to replicate all over the world and start caching this in other locations. Okay, so let me get a can I get a transaction built in here? And see if I can get it just to do a search on C# Fritz. So let me add a check. Let's call this search for C# Fritz, right? Test every 10 minutes. US East. You can there's a point and click tool that you can use to download and record those interactions. So this is cool. It's like IntelliSense for this. So go to a URL. Yes, I want that. And we're going to go to, let's go to KlipTok.com. Okay. So it's actually trying that right now. Look at that. 1.2 seconds. Okay. I want to, can I fill in a field? There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Search KlipTok, right? If I go to the website, right? So it rendered the WebAssembly. So we're already a step up on some of these other tools because it rendered the WebAssembly and it put me into this field. Okay, okay. Yeah, I want to use that field, search KlipTok, and I want to fill in the text C# Fritz, right? And now I want to click on the entry in there, right? Different profile pics. No. Oh, look, this is actually, look at this. This is actually the entries for the clips that it rendered with WebAssembly. I'm sorry, I'm kind of excited about this because this is a tool that's not just looking at pure JavaScript, but it's actually rendering the WebAssembly and letting us walk through it. This is some pretty advanced stuff here. Not gonna lie, right? It filled in the field. Yeah, you don't have syntax there, I know. Do I want it to fill in the field? Can I have it stop at that? Right? And what do I have in the next? I want to click something. I want to click the C# Fritz button. Right? So if I choose this one, see, there's sidebar. Right? And there's all the things that are on the screen, but right, I want to click on the sidebar that this thing that pops open right there. I wonder if I need to specify a wait on that, or what happens if I just press enter? Yeah, let's just press enter. Who's this guy? What else do I have that I can do here? I want to finish setting up this transaction so I can set it up to start, just let it monitor for a little bit. and see what starts popping out of here, and we'll wire up to the functions and other things another time. So we filled in the field submit form name or CSS selector. Well, is it a submit? I guess. Submit form programmatically submits a form. This cannot be performed directly by users in real browser sessions. Consider using a click command. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to... If I just do that... Right? Sleep for a number of seconds. Let's tell it to sleep for 2 seconds. Just so we can make sure that it finishes the search to show you here's what's on the screen. Right? So, log in. There's the profile pics. This is the sidebar. But I want it to find... Click C# Fritz. Right? Because there's... Right? Over here. I could kind of fake it and just have it go right to this page. Instead of clicking through. Let me do that. Because of the way that drop-down works, I don't see it... Well, wait. Let me do that again. C# Fritz. Right, this right here. I think it's like a UL or something. See, the drop-down isn't very friendly in how it pops up here. Right? Oh, no. Yeah. Ooh. What did I do to it? Try that again. I think I just want to have it go here and click on a thing at this point. Right? I've figured that I can go and search in the box. Right? Can I... text field should contain... Right, and look at all the text fields it finds. So, right, if I just make sure that it finds C# Fritz, that IntelliSense, and the drop-down appears, and well, there's the dark mode checkbox. That's kind of cool. Right, and all the clips in the various sections. That's really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I forget how this looks. But part of me says, let's just force it to... Can we just force it to go somewhere else? I don't want to have it click. Let's have it go. Or let's change the go to and have it go straight to the search results page. Because we can have it then click through and we're not dealing with the drop down. So if I have it go there, right, there it is doing the search. Yeah, I know. I want to click on something. It hasn't finished doing the search here. There we go. Right. Over here, I want to have it click on this, the channel page. Right? So I can click over here to find that element. This right here. Let me copy the CSS selector for that. And I'm going to have it click that CSS selector. Right, so there it goes. Should find it, should go through to it. Come on. There we go. Okay. And on this page, what I should do, I should find... right. Oh, look at... All right. Suggested streamers, all the stuff for those folks. But I want it to, when you click here, I want to make sure... Come on. I've got the browser doing too much here at once. Yeah, the only pinging is the client here. But I want it to load this, which is asynchronously running, so I'm wondering if that's going to create a little bit of an issue. But I want to see if intro to KlipTok is on the page here. Right? This. Because this does load client side, so I almost want to put a timeout in here. But I want to find section, I want to find this section right here. So let's make sure that that exists. Copy CSS selector for that. Should exist. Let's see. Because it's loading all of those, and it should be in. It's my most popular clip, so it should appear on the page. Right? It did. It found it. Look, it's green. And right, if that key doesn't exist, if that element isn't there on the page, I should get a red error there, right? Always when you're writing tests, create a test that has an error in it so you know that it does error out properly. So this should error out for me. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let me fix that. So it is Wise Antsy Vampire Floof. I don't make up these names. Cool. So notify me when down, alert after. No, not instantly. Notify me in 30 minutes if there's a problem. I don't need any integrations. Create that check. Cool. So now every 10 minutes, it's going to go do a search of KlipTok, search for me, and make sure that it finds that element on the page. I like it. I like that. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Peter's right. There's a bunch of ways that I was learning how to create these transaction checks. Yeah. So I didn't click into it, but there was a thing over here that said you can download a tool to help create these. Right? So here, if you don't want to write those scripts, but we're developers, we like writing scripts. But for somebody who doesn't want to write scripts, there's a point and click. There's a point and click tool that will do the navigation and allow you to build that appropriately. Where is it? Transaction recorder. Here you go. Windows and Mac. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I wanted to make sure I called this out. So that's really cool to be able to use. So, right, I'm going to back out so we can see this should start running here every few minutes, and I'll be able to tell that KlipTok's running properly and it's responding and searching the way that I expect it to. I didn't wire up any of the monitoring to my website yet, but just doing this little bit of integration has already gotten me pretty far. So let me go back over to the integrations. Now, I don't see it showing the dashboard for Azure here yet. Is it hiding? It's not a container. Maybe it's over on services. No. I have a feeling that my Azure configuration was incomplete. I didn't do something quite right in there. No, close that. Close that. Leave that running for now. Yeah, there it is. Right, so I told it to start bringing this data back. Yeah, it's not showing. I particularly want to see those functions. I don't have access to that. Okay, so metrics. Can I reach into my back office metrics? Let's see if it'll let me point to those Azure functions. So, oh my gosh, look at them all. Azure Cosmos, Azure IP, DDoS, okay. Load balancer, network, Redis, sites. Okay, so my static website is a site. So I have to drop some integration in there, I know, to get it to start reporting the log. So SQL blocked. Storage, there we go. So if I want to look at my storage ingress, egress, ingress, blob storage, transactions. Yeah, let's look at, okay. 364 transactions at 1250, so that'll start, sure. So we'll start seeing that. Can I put a title on there? Chart attributes, can I put a title? Link this chart to a dashboard, logarithmic. I didn't go through and learn how to use this, so I'm just kind of fiddling, trying to learn here. I'll do some research and learn how to do that. But a lot of flexibility here. SQL. All right, so I was looking at storage, virtual machine. I don't have virtual machines in here. I didn't see functions. I wonder if they're in the sites. Read bytes, HTTP. Ah, there we go. Function executions. There we go. Look at that. Okay. I'm feeling it. I'm starting to get some more data coming out of here. I'm going to do some more exploring and see what else I can find out about how to integrate with this. Because I'm feeling like there's a lot more data that I'm going to start seeing coming out of Azure as I start wiring up to the rest of my services. And it looks like it hasn't detected and isn't connected to those yet. And I have to put in some integrations to get it to use some of that. I was looking particularly at, where was it? Right, the Solarwinds.net SDK, so that we can get this installed and running with some of our other bits here. So there is ASP.NET middleware, and running on Azure App Service can be used to instrument application running on Azure App Service. Follow the same steps described on this page to install and add the ASP.NET middleware. So the ASP.NET Core middleware we can add, if we take a look at that. LEJ, hey there! I'm taking a look at SolarWinds and how we might be able to use... Now that's middleware. I know what middleware is. What's the name of the package? Where is it? Where is it? I was just looking at it. Here we go. App Optics Instrumentation NuGet package. So I can add this package to my static website. Add this into startup. Use App Optics APM. And it'll start logging. That makes sense. Okay. I'm gonna add that real quick here because that feels really easy for me to do. So I'm just gonna start up Visual Studio, add this package in, and push it out. My static website, this website that supports the bots that connect into KlipTok. These will this is where I'm hammering. I'm using output caching and I'm working directly with the database. So this should run really fast. And because this is a service that humans don't use, I'm not actually going to get any kind of feedback from somebody that says, hey, that service isn't working properly. I'm going to get errors coming back from Google and Bing and DuckDuckGo that, sorry, we couldn't index your website. That's even worse. So the headless services like this one are actually really important that we get in here and configure properly. Let me close that and let me get this configured. Why aren't you snapping? It's not snapping. There it is. Thank you. So I'm not going to wire up to the functions because it looks like the functions we can wire up to directly coming in from the other side from SolarWinds. But my static website over here, I should be able to just manage. I'm going to add a NuGet package. Where is it? I always get not package, project reference. Where is it? Manage NuGet packages. I don't know why it's over on the main, not on the side. Have I heard about Hover GG? Yes, I've heard about Hover. Yep. Let me go grab the name of that package is appoptics.instrumentation. Copy that. Search for it. Don't mind if I do. There it is. So install that from AppOptics. There we go. Yep, go ahead and install. Depends on this. System debt, that's fine. Okay, so that's integrated. Oh, look, there's a couple other files that it dropped into my configuration. And I think it's set over here. Set the service key in agent config. So if I go into agent config, oh, that's cool. It's got some definition as to what the configuration of this looks like. But the service key is what we need to define. So where do we get our service key? Betcha that's going to be over here in profile or in settings. I bet you I don't want to show these keys on screen. Available products, yep. Owner, edit organization. I'm guessing I don't want to show these. Hang on. Hover GG, I'm thinking of something else. Different. Different. Hover GG is trying to do they're not trying to get people over to Twitch. Yeah. They're trying to do something different. I'm trying to create a discovery platform here. Password, my activity, yep. I'm guessing there's an agent key in here somewhere that I need to grab. I'm just pulling that down so that I'm not showing things inadvertently. Because I want to get... Yeah, I want to add a host here. So, yeah, password 123. There you go. That's what it is. No, that's not what it is. Didn't find my hat. Probably, it might have been turned. Add host. Right, give me a service key here. Select your platform. Sure. There we go. And paste that in there. Okay. Next step for me can be set in. All right, that's fine. And add use app optics APM. So let me copy that. Go over here in my startup. Right, I'm adding use app optics APM. So I'm going to put that in right after use the exception handler. Actually, let's put it before it. No. Put it here. And that's it. That's it. And Bob's your uncle. Publish. I know, right-click publish. I know. That's not going to work because I forgot a using statement. There we go. Save. So, right, when I'm in production mode, not while I'm in development mode, right? That was why I put that in the lower half. If we're in development, show me the developer exception page. When I'm in production, use the exception handler and use app optics to log information. I don't want to log to app optics from my development machine. That would be a little weird. So, let's go ahead and publish. So, publishing to Azure App Service using Windows. Cool. All right. That's pretty easy to do. And I think we'll come back and we'll take a look at our numbers in the future after it's had a chance to collect and we're seeing the interaction happening between... We're going to see pingdom checks, transaction checks. We're going to see some log information coming out of this website. I'm going to talk to some folks and make sure that I get my functions wired up properly because it looks like that integration has started, but we'll get a better dashboard build out here that we can show next time as data starts getting collected here. Look at that. It's built everything, adding the directories, getting ready to deploy. I'm feeling good here. I mean, right? I added a package to my project, configured a service key, and added one line, use app optics, and boom, deployed. That's pretty good. That's not bad. So, and it's already loading, and here's the static website running, and the static website is intended to be search engine specific. I don't care about the contents of this. No human eyes are looking at this. This is for machines to look at so that they're not trying to parse and handle WebAssembly. Solarwinds could handle WebAssembly. Google and Bing do not when they crawl. So, cool. Looks like it's working, and we should start seeing metrics, I'm assuming, rolling into, right, if we go over here and go to hosts, are we going to see that host rolling in? No data available yet. I added it. So, I know it's not actually being hammered. Oh, and I closed the browser. Of course I closed the browser. Let me see if I can reopen and try and generate some data by having this respond. Right. KlipTok static. Right, there it is. And hasn't started showing it yet, but I mean, I just deployed it, so there's probably a little bit of a gap there between when it starts showing. But I'm already seeing things that I like using. Seeing the uptime running, that's Pingdom. This is a common feature, but I loved how easy it was to set this up. Being able to see the response time immediately. 3/4 of a second response time. See my transaction and see it actually loading properly here. And I can't wait to see it actually start logging and get me into logs, right? There's ways, if we go back to the SDK here, I can do additional logging with the .NET tools here, so I can get it to trace all the way down into this. Back up over here, right? I'm going to be able to get it to drill down into this, and I'm going to dig in and learn a little bit more about this. So, Ancient Coder is here.
Ancient Coder just resubscribed for 30 months. 30 months C#.
Can you believe it? 30 months. My goodness, almost 3 years. Thank you so much. 2.5 years with us. Thank you for tuning in. That's a really long execution time. Not gonna lie. Right? No errors going through it, but this is already telling me we need to make this faster. I mean, I know WebAssembly takes a little bit to load the first time. We got to make this faster. I hope to see this pick up as it runs, and we had it configured to run very infrequently, this type of transaction check. Hey, Ancient Coder, we're taking a look at SolarWinds APM integrated experience, so we can take a look and monitor KlipTok a little bit better, get some more data out of how it's performing, how its uptime is. We built a transaction here so that we know it'll go and do a search for my code, for my channel on KlipTok, and see if the clips are appearing there on page. So we're just at the tip of the iceberg with this, and being able to look across, I'm not going to be able to see any logs here because I'm not capturing logs yet. But I think I'm at the beginning of something that could be very, very interesting, and this is just the beginning of this. And looking through those samples we saw earlier really shows me that there's a cool connected experience here that's going to get me from hey, the system's running slow, all the way through to here's what's causing that issue. And to the point that was made earlier, when we had those database issues, we found, our friend Peter here in chat found an issue in our sample, in our demo scenario on the SolarWinds tools here, that showed, hey, here's the database running slow and how it gets detected. we're going to be able to detect and attach to that when we wire this up to our MySQL instance. And I'm really excited, looking forward to doing more with that. And I'll take that offline. I'm about a half hour over here. I'll take that offline and go after getting that set up so that next time I can show you a little bit more in our dashboards over here and what's been accomplished and how much data has been logged for these transactions, so we can see the outcome of our configuration for just the first couple steps with KlipTok on Pingdom, on Loggly, AppOptics, and start getting information out of it and how we can then use that to improve our application. I'm really thrilled that the folks from SolarWinds reached out and we were able to check this out today. Thank you so much to them. But it's been a long stream. I am out of time, friends. We need to call this a day. And I've got some other things I need to roll over and get into. I'm going to reach out and see what we can do to get a little bit further into this. Oh my gosh, Peter, that's a awesome point there. Let me bring that up. Let me share this comment. Believing in having insights into the end user experience is as important as the metrics and logs on the server side. The back office experience, how the application is running, but actually getting, here's what the front end experience is like. And that's what this transaction, right, is showing me, is how long it takes for these steps to run. And getting that performance metric is going to help me realize and say, we got some stuff here we got to speed up, right? I mean, look at that. 1.0 seconds, 2.7 seconds. Yeah, right? To be able to see it is functioning, it's not performing too well. You're going to need to tune this, Fritz. There's something for us to focus on. And now we've got concrete numbers generated from a third-party source that we can go after. And that is SolarWinds telling us it is functioning, it's not performing too well. And we're going to be able to dig into it. Thank you for calling that out, Peter. That's a very good statement about what we need to go after. But I'm going to wrap it up here, and we're going to call it a day because, man, we got into a lot today. We spent some time on KlipTok and we were wiring up our category sync, and I'm just about ready to get that to migrate data into our database, into our search engine, and get that category name sync for clips all online. And we spent some time looking at the SolarWinds APM integrated experience today and how we were able to go back and forth from transactions, uptime, logs, and be able to detect very easily and see the various levels of that sample application, how it was running and performing. When we started wiring it up, we were able to get some numbers coming back on performance just on the first couple requests touching KlipTok. It was so easy to set up those scripts to connect in and integrate with it and start getting some feedback. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of information it starts showing me, because I think we're going to start to see where the bumps in the road with WebAssembly are, and the fact that the Pingdom tools are handling WebAssembly and showing me the content, the output from it, is really impressive. We hooked up the AppOptics tools, so it's monitoring our static website, and we're going to start seeing data flow in from that over the next hour or so here as it's running and as those interactions happen. And we'll take a look and we'll see the outcome from that next time on Thursday when we spend some time together and we kind of review the outcome of what we set up on the SolarWinds platform. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me today. This was a lot of fun. I feel like we got a lot done, and I feel like we started putting together some appropriate guardrails that are going to help us with taking KlipTok to that next level and assuring uptime. I'm going to set up a raid here, friends. Let's set up that raid call, see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network so that we can help them out and we can send some of our friends over there. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. And thank you so much to our friends at SolarWinds for sponsoring today's stream, showing me a little bit of what they're able to do with their tools and how it can help us as developers we don't want to spend so much time doing monitoring and maintaining. Offload that to a tool set, to folks that specialize in that and can get us information about how those golden signals around our application are behaving, the response time, the response time, how it handles responses, the connections, and we can interact and get that information in a more manageable way for us. So I'm going to set up a raid for us today here. We're going to connect over and send you over to another stream. I want to send you to someone that we haven't visited in a while. We're going to go see our friend Code Rushed. That's our friend Mark Miller. He's over building some really cool stuff with TypeScript, with SignalR. There's the raid call. Thank you so much. I think we put it in there twice. That's great. All right, get ready to go see Code Rushed. He's building some tools, and it's great. He's building integrations with Twitch so that he can put special effects on screen for his show, where he's broadcasting about a Dungeons and Dragons game that his friends play. So, did I put that in? Did I put the raid in? I don't see the notification popping up on screen here. I thought I did. And I don't see it here. Come on. I think Twitch needs to run some of the performance analysis against their site because, ooh, the script there does take some time to load. There we go. I will see you next time on Thursday. We'll write some more code together. We'll see how KlipTok is performing, and we'll write some more code. We're getting ready for Microsoft Build later this month. Alrighty. Say hi to Code Rushed for me, and I will see you Thursday. Take care.